Hello, my friends. We are live. Once again, Fred Hampton Leftist, Social MMA. I have my dear brother, my Fred Hampton Leftist brother, JB. How you doing, brother?
Man, I am here. I'm ready. Yo, let's get this thing started because there's some good stuff you want to talk about, and I'm just like, yo, I'm all here for it.
Yeah, I've been raging, and I cover state violence, class war, foreign policy, but also talk about propaganda, talk
Hmm.
about the media and the impact that it has on on us every day. We did a whole segment on the International Leftist Coalition talking about the psychology of imperialism, and propaganda has a pretty giant role to play with that, right?
Yeah.
So people ask me like, "Shit, why you got on YouTube? Why why grow for hand leftists?" I've made a lot of sacrifices um, in order to get Frank Hampton Leftist where it is right now,
Hmm.
because the corporate media is our number one enemy right now. Welcome everyone in the chat. Thank you all for watching. See a lot of our great comrades here. Shout out to Roxanne, Holly Home. How you doing? So I am of the position that we need as many activists, we need as many anti-establishment voices having a platform
Hmm.
and blasting their opinions out there and helping share organizing tips, pushing mutual aid, pushing strikes, because the corporate media plays a giant role in shutting down the left. And if you don't have any plan to combat the corporate media and the corporate media influence, you are engaged in this giant problem that we have, the giant capitalist, late stage capitalist state, this
Hmm.
police state that we're living in right now in a very inefficient manner.
Hmm.
Even if you agree with electoral politics, right? Like there are a lot of people who they say, "Oh, I want to take over the Democratic Party."
Hmm.
Now, even if that is your goal, it does not make sense for you not to support independent media and for you not to go against the corporate media the way that we are going after them. Because if you believe in electoral politics, one giant reason why Bernie lost, one giant reason why Nina lost, one reason why you guys lose is because the corporate media black your campaigns out. They run hit pieces and they do the centrist coalition they always do.
Hmm.
When you engage in direct action, when we have protests like Occupy Wall Street, when we have protests against police violence, you have the corporate media that takes the side of the police state every single time and doing propaganda against the protesters. They always like they will show um the infiltrators, the people who start problems with the police. Meanwhile, like if you look at the studies last year, like 97% of the protests that happened last year was peaceful, but the media wasn't showing that.
Yeah.
And what the corporate media, what they do to the left, is they stomp out and silence our movements and our protests. But look at what they do to the opposite. On the opposing side, when it comes to right wing protests, the corporate media always amplify those protests. And
Hmm.
why do you think they do that? Because at the end of the day, conservatives are useful idiots for the establishment. When the
Hmm.
Tea Party movement started, the corporate media was all over that.
Hmm.
Imagine if you had police abolition movements, you had Occupy Wall Street movements, if you had movements against Wall Street that got the kind of attention that the Tea Party got. I remember there was Stop the Steal protest, and if you look at the amount of people that was there, it'd be like 20 people. They'll have 20 people at a Stop the Steal protest, but CNN, MSNBC, all the corporate media will boom and highlight those protests. Oh my God, look at what the suburban white conservatives are upset at. Meanwhile, you have indigenous people protesting corporate America building pipelines on their land. Much love and solidarity to Line 3, Standing Rock, because you have corporations that are poisoning their lands right now. How much attention do they get from the media?
None.
Do
Mm-mm.
they get amplified by the right? So the problem is the corporate media shuts down and clamps down on left wing protests. Did they cover the Medicare for All marches? Why do they cover Stop the Steal? Why do they cover these right wing protests? But we had Medicare for All marches in 50 cities across the country. We had 5 members for Hampton leftists give speeches. No media coverage at all.
Yeah.
James, you have anything you want to add before I move on?
Yeah. I find it funny how um and you rightfully said that, we got to support independent media in this space. And maybe this sounds a little dumb of me, but I honestly don't think, like, if we, are able to get in this space and, are, trying to do what we can to dominate it, I don't think it's fair that corporate media should be in this space, because they don't let us into their space. They don't allow us to be in that space because they're afraid of what we might say. So, truth be told, I think it's kind of stupid that corporate media can be in this space. But unfortunately, for them, it's about the business model. So they're trying to move over to internet because they know that our generation is going to be the ones who aren't going to be watching the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the Fox Newses. They're going to try to force it upon us. This is why you see the algorithms push those our way. Like, you can literally have, FHL, you can have Jimmy Dore, Frank Analysis, Rob Buchner. You can have all these different channels that are independent and left. Next thing you know, boom, CNN pops up on your feed. How many people have had that happen? Like, for or you'll have an MSNBC, pop up on your feed, or even Fox News, and it's like, and but at the same time, what are they really talking about? They're trying to force this capitalistic media narrative down your throats, and your algorithm, for what they read about your activity, shows that you're not interested in the corporate media, but yet they still want to force it upon you. So yeah, I basically said all that to say that, what you said is true. And they don't want to uh let you see what's really going on, because then that could be a way to radicalize you, and they don't want to radicalize you with the truth. It's just like, for instance, um you know, uh, I did remember seeing it on the corporate media when I was younger, the Occupy Wall Street, you know, and so they probably thought, well, we shouldn't have covered it, because since we covered it, it actually caused more people to go out there to occupy Wall Street. So we're just not going to pay them any attention anymore instead. And so they basically did what Nancy Pelosi did to Shahid Buttar. Just don't pay him any attention. That's what they do.
Yeah, they definitely learned their lesson. And I want to get a shout out to Josana. Thank you for the super sticker. Friend of the show. Look forward. We're going to have a great conversation tomorrow. She's going to be on the International Leftist Coalition panel. That's why I jumped on today. By the way, we usually do it on Tuesday evenings, but we actually pushed the International Leftist Coalition panel back to tomorrow evening. So I want to jump on and at least have some conversations with you guys. And shout out to Case Study, does
Hmm.
great work as well. And
Hmm.
thank anyone for the great comments. Um, so yeah, thanks for the support, guys. I also want to show you guys this because when I say the United States is the most propagandized country in the world, right? People immediately they just think of the newsroom, right?
Hmm.
There are a lot of layers of the propaganda that we have. I talk about it when I say the United States is the most propagandized country. I talk about the way they educate us as well, and I tell people the misconceptions and the straight up lies they told us about our famous revolutionary leaders. For example, the lies they told us about MLK, the whitewashing of MLK, the lies and slander they told about Malcolm X. It's all about propaganda and control on the education level. But
Hmm.
there is also a close relationship with our media and our consumption and the politicians, where you have big tech and you have corporations that did a good job adjusting to the new age of information, and
Hmm.
that's why they crank down on social media. You see the coordination between big tech CEOs and Democratic lawmakers, and now you see people on the highest levels of influential platforms like Hulu and Netflix. They are getting friendly with oligarchs. And I saw this video, and I know you didn't get a chance to see this, so this is going to be pretty interesting for you to watch. James, JB,
Hmm.
watch this documentary that is about to come out on Fauci on Hulu, I believe it is. Here it is. I'll tweet this out just as another example why the U.S. is the most propagandized country in the world. Come from Disney. Once again, Disney showing to be a trash organization, and we got a lot we gotta say about Disney here very soon. But this is what they had to say, and they released this yesterday. This is the Fauci documentary on Disney Plus.
Hmm.
Um, an unprecedented portrait of one of America's most vital public servants. I I was on Jimmy Dore. We talk about Fauci. He does a good job covering Fauci and his corruption. Do you guys know what Fauci did in the 80s regarding the AIDS crisis? The same way with COVID, he was caught lying about masks, and he was caught lying in order to push an agenda and being a political hack. He lied in front of Congress, by the way. He played a big role in funding gain of research function that probably played a big role into causing this pandemic. And then in the 80s, he also was caught lying. He was caught lying about AIDS and saying that family members, especially small children, can transmit AIDS through contact with other family members. And when he said that, it caused a public panic. And that was one of the things that caused a extreme stigmatization of AIDS victims that was spearheaded by Ronald Reagan. And Fauci helped Reagan politicize and racialize the crisis in the 80s. The liberal hero, Fauci.
Yo,
That's what he did.
Nick, I'm just learning this, and as a gay man, that is the most fucked up thing.
How crazy is it that people don't know this, right? If you
Cause
ask the average shit live, I'll guarantee you they won't know this stuff. The average person do not know this about Fauci. And now that makes what I'm about the reason why I want to share this, that makes what I'm about to show you even more disgusting. But go ahead, JB.
no, no, no. It's just, bruh. Like, you think about what you know he's perpetuated, and look, if I had came out in the '80s, then what? You know, I already face a modicum of ostracism now. Just imagine the ostracism I would have faced if I would have came out the closet.
Check that
If I
out.
had
Look at
lived in the
this.
'80s.
React to that, JB. I didn't know that. Fauci also delayed AIDS treatments. Like educate me. Like
Holy shit!
I know some of the corruption of Fauci. I don't know his entire Oppo research. So if you guys have more that you guys want to hit me with, I'm down.
Yo,
I'm down. So
Eric Thomas. Look, if
Jesus.
that's factually true as you say, bro, that's massive. Thank you very much for that info.
But I knew he had a long history of being a lying public servant politician and someone who he and it's so egregious. I explained this when I was on Jimmy. He uses science in order to shield himself from criticism. And he actually brainwashed the liberal masses into repeating this and believing this. Where if you criticize Fauci, people say, "Oh, you're anti-science." That's not how it works. Carl Sagan explains. I need to find a video clip because I just now remind myself of it. Maybe I'll look it up and we're playing it live. He explains
Yeah.
that science is about questioning science.
Oh,
Like
of
iron
course.
sharpens iron. That's how science works. You have theories, and then people question your theory, and then it
Hmm.
becomes scientific fact as it is questioned over time. I'm
Yeah.
not a scientist, but even I can explain the basics of how science works. And you
Yeah.
had a lot of people who was like, if you have any questions toward Fauci and anything that come out of our government, you're anti-science, even though they have walked back things multiple times. So if you reported on the fact that COVID-19 may have came from a lab leak last year, people will say, "Oh, you're anti-science or you're a conspiracy theory." But now we know that's a possibility now. Fauci even admitted it. You see how they changed truth into being like politicized. Do you have anything else that you want to add, James? Because I think all this background information is important because the video I am about to show you guys. If you know
Okay.
how horrible Fauci is,
Yeah.
That makes the video way worse. And you guys
Yeah.
gonna see it.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
Yeah. I just wanted to add this because, and to back up what you said, you know, science has to be constantly questioned in order for us to see the accuracy, the objectivity, and the validity of what is being asked of or proposed or what is being stated as fact. So because of that, uh, questioning Fauci isn't anti-science. The uh, ostracizing of people for questioning Fauci is actually demagoguery. I was looking up the definition of demagoguery
Well
just to
said.
make sure I got the definition correct in my head. Demagoguery, it means political activity or practices that seek support by appealing to the desires and prejudice of ordinary people rather than using rational argument. So the thing is that it's all demagoguery because they're saying, "Oh, you shouldn't question Fauci as if he's a god."
Yeah, and they really believe that.
Not.
They will get mad at they get mad at people for going after Fauci. I see it all the time.
Yeah,
Hold that thought, James. I
sure.
found the video I was talking about earlier. Just pay attention to what he's saying here. I think Gas is kind of shady. I
I'm
think
a mute.
I think he's a kind of a shady guy, but pay attention to actually what Carl Sagan is saying here, and this is what I'm referring to as well.
Science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along.
And who does that remind you of? Fauci. Fauci is the charlatan that Sagan just warned us about. What he said is 100% true. Now, with that said, let's watch with all that background information and how Fauci sucks. Once again, you see the title of this video, guys. The U.S. is the most propagandized country. And this is part of that formula that makes that statement true. Check this out.
When I think about my dad growing up, I certainly think about that seriousness. But very few people get to see. He's funny, weird, and really playful.
God help us. In 1981, HIV/AIDS was evolving rapidly and frighteningly. There was anger at the government's response.
So you guys are not going to say anything. There's a big elephant in the room about his role in the AIDS crisis that they just going to allow him to. You guys, listen to this again. And this will be the last time I stop it, but I just want to highlight that. And if this documentary covers this, I will apologize. And I'll be like, all right, I was wrong. But I promise you, this documentary will not cover what I explained to you what Fauci did in the AIDS crisis. Now watch this again. And it'll be the last time I stop it and I let it finish through.
God help us. In 1981, HIV/AIDS was evolving rapidly and frighteningly. There was anger at the government's response.
When you got sick, you were gone fast.
Then what?
Yeah.
Why?
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
When COVID hit, he became this target.
My dad said, we're going to get through this whole thing. And he's held that.
You don't do it because you want to make money. You don't do it for the glory. You do it because you care.
When you're involved in a race to stop a horrible disease, you always feel you're not doing things quickly enough.
Bruh. JB. Do you see that nonsense? There's so much to say. If you don't think we're the most propagandized people after watching that, you see the musical effects. You see they show his old pictures of him being a dad. You know, you gotta make him relatable. You know what I mean? Then they like brush over the AIDS. They're like, yeah, people were pissed off about the AIDS crisis. Why? Why do you think that was? Because of Fauci. They just brush over that, and he was like, they brought the family in, and I don't want to say anything about them at all. It's not fair. It's kind of a scumbag move that Fauci was even like put his family out there like that. But it kind of sucks, right? You shouldn't. But hey, look at his kids. Look how relatable he is. Good for them. And they're like, man, Fauci's just a public servant who sacrificed a lot. Bro, how much? Someone look up how much money he makes. How much money do Fauci make a year? I think it's like 200,000 plus. I'm gonna Google it. If you guys want help in the chat, help me out. But there's no sacrifice. He became rich as a public servant. He makes literally 10 times more than the poverty rate. The poverty rate. Well, let me rephrase that. The poverty rate, if you had 3 people in your household, is $24,000. He makes 10 times more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like there's no sacrifice being made here. The amount, the what he receives out of that job,
he makes over 400,000.
See, that's
makes what the president makes.
That's way higher than I thought. The sacrifice that this guy makes, he makes he makes almost $1 million a year. Oh my God, the sacrifice, and he has complete immunity. You guys realize that he can lie to Congress, which he did. And you had Democratic politicians, I covered this on my show, who straight up said, who was asked about him lying to Congress, and their answer essentially was, there's nothing that Fauci could say that will lead us to want to prosecute him, because it's a partisan game to them. They won't want to give the Republicans a win. The Republicans don't like Fauci just because they're playing their partisan game as well. But they tackle him on substance stuff, like the fact that he lied in front of Congress. And Democrats was asked about this, and Jen Psaki was asked about this, and she was like, there's nothing he can do essentially that will make us fire him. So he has immunity then. That is what Jen Psaki said. There's nothing that he can do that will make us fire him.
That's wrong. That's absolutely
wrong. And he's supposed to be the victim. He makes about $500,000 a year. There are no consequences to anything he does in his job. He can lie in front of Congress. He can be complicit in the way the government failed to handle the AIDS and the COVID-19 pandemic, and still he is treated as a hero. I can write a book about the propaganda in that 1 minute alone.
Look, people can make mistakes, but those people who can make mistakes are ones that can afford to make a mistake that doesn't harm people in a significant way. The people who you don't want to make mistakes are people involved in law enforcement, the people who are involved in flying things like planes, the people who are involved in driving buses, the people who are involved in government, who
he's
are
the highest paid. Sorry, JB. He's the highest paid public employee. Sorry, JB. Go ahead. Continue. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. That is interesting. It's like, and the thing is that it's not even a mistake. Like, for instance, last year he lied about the masks. And it's just like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. So, and they keep bringing him out because he's a doctor. But at the same time, it's like, wait a minute. If other doctors are refuting what you're saying, right? And doctors are scientists. Let's be real. They are scientists because they had to learn that. And this is one of the reasons why I wish we had Robert Durden, because he's a doctor from Political Fight Club, and he would be able to talk about this too.
Yeah, maybe I gotta have him on. I love that guy.
Yeah. I think you guys would have a great conversation.
I saw you had a conversation with him. That was it was a good show. Yeah. And he did a video where he was talking about a lot of lies people were telling about ivermectin. That was pretty powerful. Because he seemed like he had his head on right, but pretty much I'm looking at the comments. You guys are on fire because you guys know a lot about Fauci. I know a lot about his incompetence. but there's so much that he has done. He is a corrupt public servant. Period.
Wait, hold up. Wait. Would it Naris Narisia? No, I'm sorry, Narissa say? Um,
Pull it up. Pull it up.
I know more about bacteria than he does. That's kind of sad. Yeah. If he's supposed to be like the big doctor, one of the big like medical minds in government, he should know everything about everything, regarding these issues, at least on a general level. Um,
You
I
can
don't.
tell everything he says is calculated. That's why he lies.
Yeah.
He admitted that he lies about masks because he wanted people not to use masks because he thought there was to be
Hmm.
not enough masks for the healthcare workers. So it's like,
Yeah.
bro, when you see that, when you see him when he lied in front of Congress, when you see him do that stuff, it's like, bro, I see him all the time. I'm like, bro, he's making political calculations, and I see people on the left. I'll see Democrats like praise this guy and worship this guy, and I'm like, bro, this is the effectiveness of the propaganda in our country. And I don't watch corporate media and like CNN and MSNBC that often, but every once in a while I will be like curious, and I'll wander onto like shitlib Twitter. I will go check out like some shitlib websites, and I'll see what they're talking about. And
Yeah.
they held Fauci as a hero.
Hmm.
This
But
is the psychosis they want. The
yeah.
psychosis they want you to treat public servants as heroes. But you got to be very skeptical of your activist neighbor. Oh, he
Hmm.
may be. He's a shady individual. You don't want to be seen at the march with him. Meanwhile,
Hmm.
trust the politicians and the public servants. How do people not see this? But James, I think you had a thought. I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah. Like, okay, so watch them suddenly try to lead a propaganda about Fauci the same way they did about Andrew Cuomo. And now they're going to say, Fauci me, daddy. Watch. It's going to happen. They're going to start saying, oh my God, he's so sexy. Oh my God, he saved the nation. Oh my goodness, he's so proficient at what he does. And next thing you know, everybody's going to be, basically like, stroking Fauci's ego instead of actually thinking critically about what he actually did. And that's basically what's going to happen. And if it hasn't happened now, then okay, today on October 5th, 2021, mark my words, they're going to do it. They're going to try to do something to, turn his last name into something that is, you know, endearing, I guess. It's crazy. But the thing is that this basically goes all the way back to the propaganda. This is a propaganda machine, uh, basically just for capitalism, because they have to get people to get in line behind Fauci because they want people to just suck it up if they, risk, their health. Oh well, it's for capitalism. And that's ultimately what it's about. They don't really care. It's just they're just trying to keep the economy going. Fauci's job is to keep the economy going from the medical side, for to keep capitalism going from the medical side. It's not really for the actual public health. It's just to keep the workers in line.
Well said. Thank you for the shout out, Josana. The Democrats are not left. Yeah, they're not. They I actually push back on people who say like Joe Biden's a moderate, right? I push back on that. Joe Biden is not a moderate. He's a far right winger, racist, segregationist, imperialist, Zionist. He back when he was a senator, he was nicknamed the senator of Wall Street, the other credit card companies.
MBNA, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
bro. Like
Yeah.
he was in the 80s, he was there pushing Reagan to the right on economic issues and on criminal justice. You guys want to call that guy a moderate?
It's funny.
It,
I
go
find it
ahead,
so
JB.
funny how people talk so horribly about Reagan. Like Reagan started all this stuff, and yet Joe Biden was to the right of him. Wait, hold up. It's like,
Look at this comment.
yeah, Joe Biden was the
Moderate and racist.
That's funny. Thank
Look,
you,
sorry,
564.
JB. That
No,
was a
no,
good
that
one.
was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, it's like people say, Okay, I'll put it this way: Reagan, for all you Game of Thrones lovers, Reagan was Joffrey, but Biden is Ramsay Bolton. Think about that. Think about that. Because when you thought it was bad with Reagan, Joe Biden was much worse, and now he's the president.
People are shocked at how America are treating Haitian immigrants, right? They're shocked that the fucking racist who multiple times has said he don't care about the fate of the Haitian people, who have been on record and has supported the destruction of the Haitian people. You guys are shocked that Jim Crow Joe is anti-black.
It's so stupid to think that.
So dumb. It's so dumb. Like, there are people that are like, yo, they're like, yo, we're pro-black. They have Black Lives Matter all over their profile, and they be like, yo, we gotta vote for Joe Biden. And I'm like, what? I'm glad there are a lot of the Black Lives Matter brothers and sisters that I criticize because they went to back for Joe Biden, to the point where Joe Biden won, and you have Black Lives Matter leadership that put out a statement that was like, we won. Because Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump. And I'm like,
Hold up.
what?
Hold up. I didn't see that.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it.
I did not see that.
I want to be fair to them.
So wait. They said when Joe Biden won, they said we won. Wait, what did Malcolm X say?
I'm gonna be fair to them. So here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. Because I haven't read it in a long time, but Black Lives Matter global network statement about Biden-Harris victory. Once again, Black people, especially Black women, have saved the United States. What? What?
Okay.
That's worse than I thought it was. That is worse than I remembered. Hold up. Go ahead, JB. Go ahead.
I want to react to this. Remember in Malcolm X's speech when he said how the slave that will say, "Oh, massa, oh, we sick," instead of saying, you're sick, we sick. That's what it sounds like to me. It's like, "Oh, massa, are we sick? Is we sick?" Like, no. This is the last guy that you want to be claiming victory about having in the
Bro, this
States.
image makes me sick. Dude, this makes me sick. Like, I wanted to read this again just in case there was like a caveat where they was like, all right, we're gonna make sure we bust your ass though, and make sure you stick to. I don't see anything in here where they say, yo, we're gonna make sure that Biden respects his campaign promises or anything. Because that's what I was looking for. I was scrolling, I was looking for it. I was trying to like, all right, at least they said they will hold Joe Biden accountable. Like, where is it? America is a democracy, not a dictatorship. We will protect, preserve, and defend our vote. And no surprise, Trump is refusing to accept the legitimacy of the election results. Bro, this sound like MSNBC. This sound like MSNBC shit. If you listen to Joanne Reed, it would be like her monologue. America is not a democracy. America is a democracy, not a dictatorship. And we will protect, preserve, and defend our vote. And no surprise, Trump is refusing to accept the legitimacy of the election results. You see? Does that sound like MSNBC shit? But once again, to be fair, I have seen people in Black Lives Matter like, okay, we got to start holding Biden accountable. But bro, meanwhile, people on the Fred Hampton leftist side, we wasn't established yet back then, but we was here. We was here, and I was loud. It was like, bro, you out of your goddamn mind if you think we should vote for Jim Crow Joe, especially without an ask. Right? We're the most propagandized country in the world. God damn it. Because people act like
I'm dead. I'm just dead right now.
You guys want to see the bullshit that I went through? I was tweeting about this since we're having fun right now. Hold on.
Oh my God. Dude.
You guys want to see the bullshit I've been through when I was a black leftist telling people like, bro, we should not vote for fucking Joe Biden. He's a racist piece of shit. That's why CNN cut my interview when I was talking to them, because I was like, yo, Joe Biden wrote the crime bill. He's a racist scumbag. But you guys know the shit I got for just saying this basic common sense shit. A lot of the OGs remember this. The ratio is powerful on this tweet. This was in response of I think the tweet is taken down for obvious reasons. Just one of my many posts bashing Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris supported civil asset forfeiture and prison slave labor. Like, Biden built those systems that Kamala Harris strongly defended. One of the most anti-black coalitions I saw come together. But this is what come from the liberal class. And they all got me blocked now. Like, bro, I barely see Russiagate. Like, I barely see shit on my timeline that come from shit libs because I am blocked by so many of them. But this is what one of them that don't have me blocked. This is what they have to say. And this is why I assume that this is how they feel about me. This is why they block me, right? She said, I am a white woman, and yes, I'm gonna call your black ass Uncle fucking Tom if you vote for anybody but Biden Harris. Trying to rub shoulders with the same people who would have owned your ass for $1.75 years ago. It's not a good look.
Oh my God.
You're racist against your own people.
Oh my God.
I wish I could find a link to the tweet. I think it's gone. But you guys see the ratio. And it was glorious.
Yo.
Black Twitter was like, hold up.
Where Finny at? Where's she at? Because
the entirety
of
Black Twitter.
And she can talk to her right now. Because I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I'm keeping my mouth shut. But I wish she could just make one video and just address her. Just her. Please.
That'd be too much fire. Too much fire. I don't think we can even handle that, to be honest. That's too much fire.
Woo, boy.
Bro. I love this moment.
I'm awake.
I love this moment on Twitter because I talk a lot of shit on Twitter, right? A lot of people have feelings about me. But this was like a moment of Black Twitter uniting in a way I have not seen in a long time. All the Black Twitter came in on her. You guys saw the ratio. That was early, by the way. Like it was pretty crazy. So it was pretty funny. And that's the white liberal shit lib that I have been exposing on the platform. This is what Black leftists expose. This is why they rather block us, right? Like all these people, they will block me and they'll kick us out of dialogue. But they will talk to Meghan McCain. They will talk to a Trump supporter. So you guys are telling me you would talk to a white Trump supporter, but you guys will shut out Black leftists and block them in a heartbeat. That says everything. Right? It says everything about the white liberal mindset. And once again, the title of the video, the theme of the video is the U.S. propaganda. The U.S. propaganda that even convinced Black people that these people are allies, right? They are our enemy, right? They are the number one barrier of change. Bro, I am coming out with a fire-ass article. My sister Meg, she looked at the paper, bless her soul. It's gonna come out soon, and the theme of it's gonna be on my Substack. The theme of the paper is why my biggest fears of the Biden administration is being realized. All the biggest fears. And you see the media, the way they cover for Joe Biden, the way they defend Joe Biden. This is the part of my fear, and this is the propaganda we are seeing. Where you have progressives that are like, we're gonna fight for the Biden agenda. You have people writing op-eds. It's seen I think of Chris Eliza. Chris Eliza was like, Biden is a radical socialist president. It's like, bro, we live in a crazy country. Do you guys not see this shit? People are calling Joe Biden a socialist. Not Fox News. Like Fox News does it, but you have Fox News and you have CNN pretending that fucking the capitalist, the Wall Street goon, Joe Biden is a socialist.
Yo. Does anybody pick up a dictionary anymore? Nick, man, what's up, man? What the hell is wrong with these people? Do they pick up a dictionary? Yo, they can just Google it on Wikipedia and be like, oh, what is a wait. Hey Siri, what is a socialist? And then they can get the answer and they know that it's not Joe Biden. And yo, real talk. Okay. So I was at my dialysis center, right? And story time. I was at my dialysis center, and there is an older black man that is a conservative and a Trump supporter. Right? He called Trump his president, and he was talking about Biden, and he was like, "Yeah, Biden's a socialist." I said, "No, he's not." I said, "I'm a socialist. Biden is no socialist." But no, he's arguing with a socialist about what a socialist is. They are so propagandized to the point where I almost want to just be like, I give up. I just give up. You're too far gone, dude. I wanted to give up, but I didn't because I was just like, okay, let me explain things from a different angle. And he agreed with me on certain things. But yo, that propaganda is strong, and especially among people who are later Gen X, and especially who go into the Boomer generation. Not to say that we don't have lefties, who know what's up, who are Boomers as well. We do, and we appreciate them. But the people who are older, that are, like liberals and a lot of the conservatives, they are so propagandized because they come from that Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather generation where it was they just they do their papers, and then they're like, that's the news, and that is it, it's objective, and they have that mindset that the person on the TV, everything they're telling me is objective fact, when it's not that way anymore. And we can also blame people like Joe Biden and Bill Clinton for that. So yeah, unfortunately, that's what we have. And the thing is that, and look, I I, I wanna say this, Jessica. They're not necessarily dumb. It's just they've been propagandized. They've been told the same lie over and over and over, till the point where they suddenly start to believe it because they've been told that lie, and they haven't had anybody like us, or Jimmy Dore, or unapologetic, or any other lefty to come in and go, no, this is absolutely wrong. And the thing is that the government allowed it to happen because of these laws that they did with these deregulations. And so now look, now you have people like Rachel Maddow and Tucker Carlson, which is basically infotainment, lying to our parents and grandparents, and now they're believing either that Trump is still legitimately president, he's going to become president again, or oh, it was Russia behind our election, and Russia was the one who was trying to interfere and blah blah blah. So you have the liberal and the neocon basically on either side, while they're owned by all the same people and they're running out the back door with all the money. That's basically what it is. And we're trying to tell them that, but they propagandize them so good to the point that they won't believe us.
You guys want to know how ridiculous the propaganda is? And to me, the people who question when I say America the most propagandized country, they are so unserious, because words have no meaning in this country. Because you would think that it's Fox News that's purposely getting what it means to be a socialist wrong, right? That they will be the ones who are fear mongering and claiming that Joe Biden is radical socialist, Marxist president that is secretly controlled by Bernie Sanders and AOC. That's what they say, right? That alone, that's a very giant part of our media that says stupid shit like that, right? That alone makes it the most propagandized country. Like who else is saying crazy shit like Fox News? That for one, like, do you guys? I consider that part of the equation. When I say the U.S. is the most propagandized country, it's Fox News trying to handy Janine Pirro. You guys know who these crazy people are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have CNN, who, I mean, I might well change the video to this of the official roast of CNN. This is Chris Eliza rewriting
CNN.
and telling a completely different reality. Chris Eliza says the utter radicalness of Joe Biden's presidency. The presidency that won't even give its citizens health care in the middle of a pandemic. That radical presidency. The radical presidency that can't even give us a $15 minimum wage, which is not a living wage, by the way. Look, $15 minimum wage, that fight started like 15 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Motherfucker fight for $15 minimum wage, and that's gonna do something, bro. People already get paid $15 minimum right now. That's the minimum wage in a few states.
Florida, hello.
There's a minimum wage in New York. And it's
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in 2025.
They can't even do the basic of the most basic shit. Joe Biden didn't even decriminalize marijuana like he said he would. In the year 2021, where white people are making a ton of money on weed while we are locked up, by the way, Joe Biden is still to the right of the vast majority of the Republican voters. You guys know 60% of Republican voters support decriminalizing marijuana?
It's to the right of John Boehner, who has a stake in a marijuana company. Former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, is invested in weed.
Should I go on? I mean, I could literally go on, but you guys see what I'm doing, right? I'm explaining how the concept that Joe Biden is radical is the dumbest political take that you would only expect in these in like the state you guys consider to be propagandized state TV, right? And now if you read the first paragraph,
oh no, don't do this to me.
Joe Biden has been president of the United States for a little over 8 months now, and he may well be on the verge of radically overhauling the relationship between federal government and the average American in ways that will linger well beyond his first or even second term.
Y'all see my face, right?
Bro, I can't see it because I got the screen share, but it's going to be hilarious. But you guys realize that billionaires, they made trillions of dollars directly because of the policies that Joe Biden supports. That Joe Biden handled COVID-19 the exact same way that Donald Trump has in terms of policy. Joe Biden sided with the managerial class. He is waging class war because he illegally cut unemployment benefits, and he sided with letting unemployment benefits expire. Why is this class war? Because in this situation where we have the ruling class who refuse to pay us fair wages, our negotiation is our labor. So when Joe Biden made the decision to cut out unemployment benefits, that gives the negotiation advantage to the employer. Yeah. Because if we actually get healthy, if you had a pro-worker politician, they were like, all right, we're going to give you a healthy unemployment wage. And if you want this person to work, you got to increase your wages. That's how you use policy to put pressure on the business class to raise wages. But Biden did the exact opposite. Biden put pressure on the workers. Said, I'm going to cut your unemployment benefits, even though we didn't increase the military budget. We didn't increase the police budgets. LC, she's like, we should raise our wages. That was the first thing she did when she got in Congress, by the way. They do that. They give Israel weapons deals. They give Israel billions of dollars. But you can't stand with the workers in this time where we having a soft general strike where we are refusing to work because the wages are so low. That's the class war that Joe Biden is waging on us. And how many of these channels broke this down to you this way? This is why you gotta listen to Marks and Lennon, MLs. This is the class analysis. This is the class analysis of this. JB, you got anything you want to add? And then I want to get back to the story because this is fun. But but JB, you got anything you want to add on this?
Yeah, I want to add something. So a lot of times, a lot of people talk about, China has state media, or this country has state media, and blah blah blah. Don't speak disparaging about state media. But what happens when your government is ruled and ran by corporations, and then the corporations put out media that favors corporations? Isn't that state media as well? Do we really have a free and open media in the United States?
Because that's a powerful point. That's a powerful point.
Just a question.
This is something else I want to propose to you guys, because I talked to people that were from China. I talked to people who are experts in China. The thing is, if you ask the average Chinese person, and this comes from the people I know, they know that when they turn on the TV, when they turn on the news, that they are getting news from a pro-state perspective. it's a openly agreed upon thing. They're like, all right, this is state news, and this is the perspective of our state news. So because of that, a lot of people in China don't watch it. They don't watch it because they're like, all right, this is state news anyway, right? But in America, there are people who legitimately believe that when they watch Rachel Maddow, that they are getting legitimate news. Do you see the difference there? And when you are paid, and this is the difference that these capitalists don't understand. Even a lot of the social democrats don't understand this. When you have corporate media that is paid by weapon defense contractors, by Boeing and Raytheon, why the fuck is Boeing and Raytheon advertising on MSNBC? The target demographics is young people, and the people that watch it is older. Are we buying weapons from the military-industrial complex? No. So why are they advertising on the TV? They're not selling us a product. So what are they selling? They're selling the loyalty of the corporate media by giving them revenue. And then those same weapon defense contractors, they are friends with politicians. They donate to politicians. Big Pharma also part of this. Big Pharma also donates to corporate media. They donate to Joe Biden, help him win. And then Joe Biden, he abandons the public option. Just so happened he implements Cobra that helps the Big Pharma. So how can you say this is not state TV? Because they all connected. That's capitalism. This is why you can't buy the propaganda. Because you have capitalists, you have right wingers like, oh, at least our media is free.
You're so stupid.
So
our media is free. But
Julian
yet they
Assange.
buy your information that you submit on social media. Please. Okay.
Ask Julian Assange how free our media is right now. Ask Daniel Hill how free our media is right now.
Right.
How do you guys, when I say, look at the title of this goddamn video. When I say the U.S. is the more propagandized country, if you even remotely try to fight back against me, you are lost in the sauce. Because I hope the explanation that we are giving you help like peel back this idea that we are like this free. Look, bro, our media is corporate or is bought by a corporate media. Why do you think you can't tell true about war at MSNBC? All right, let me get the super chats here. Please. I can go on. I can rant all day on about this. Thank you for the $10, Ben. I'm not sure if you heard of Edward Barnes, but he is modern architect of propaganda and public relations in the 20th century. I am not aware of this. Check out his Wikipedia. Thank you. This is why we in community with each other, because we teach and learn a lot from each other. So thank you for that recommendation. I'll look into that. So the revolution will be propagandized. The proletariat propaganda. Like people, I want to get this revolution started so bad, guys. But people still believe that there's a path of liberation through the Democratic Party. We're not even close. We got a lot of education to do. That's why we fucking live right now. That's why we live. I'm gonna move on to this next part of the story, because back to why the U.S. is the most propagandized country in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And we was covering how you had Dr. Fauci propaganda on Disney Plus, and there's this concerted effort, and this is also you see CNN is guilty of this, MSNBC is guilty of this. Our celebrities play a giant role in helping this out, where there's a concerted effort into making our politicians into heroes instead of public servants. People wonder why. Oh, Nick, why are you so mad? Why are you so mean to AOC? Why are you so mean to Bernie? Man, come on. Why you gotta be so mean to these people? I had people like, why? Oh my God, you criticizing Tulsi Gabbard? Like people follow me because I'm anti-war, right? And suddenly people are Tulsi fans who get mad at me. I'm like, bro, they are fucking politicians. They get caught in the sauce as well. And this is a problem on the left. Yeah, people, there are popular streamers who like have AOC t-shirts on while they're streaming. Bro, Jackson Hinkle did a great video. There was this guy who he tried to put out a diss track on me and Jimmy Dore when we were talking about Nina Turner, and then Jackson Hinkle put out a response video that obliterated him. But if you look at the dude who criticized me, he had like an AOC shirt on. I'm like, bro, this is beyond parody.
Wait.
Beyond
That
parody. And
standing.
Hassan Piker was on he was on Rising, or he was with Kyle Kalinske. He was on one of those shows, and he had like AOC shirt on. Cause she played video games with him before. The conflict of interest that the boutique left they get away with it for some reason. I don't get it. But that's what we see. I don't know what I'm talking about because that's just still funny to me. Check out Jackson Hinkle. It came out like 60 days ago. He came out with a video because he was one of the people like, how dare Socialist MMA say Nina Turner lost because of the squad? And it's hilarious. I love my haters. But anyway, my point is, these people who claim they are progressives, they are lost in the sauce as well, where they elevate public servants into being hero status, right? And this is what they're doing with Fauci on Disney Plus. And you guys look at what they're doing with Obama and Netflix, right? You have Obama and Netflix that are literally working as partners. Someone who is a war criminal, someone who is a public servant, we should be holding these people accountable. If you don't think the propaganda is steep in this country, check this story out. And I'm gonna show you guys an example of this. This is what I show you guys with Fauci is not an accident. American politicians are setting up their own production companies. And the links between Hollywood and Washington, D.C. are only getting stronger.
State media. What I tell y'all.
But tell me more about how the U.S. is not the most propagandized country. If you disagree with the title of this video, explain this.
You think they're private citizens, so they're not. They can do whatever they want, and yet they're still pushing the same propaganda and narrative as before, and they're still making money off of their political status.
What else can we say here? There have been reports, and pretty much just basic common information that you have the CIA that infiltrated Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way you get a lot of pro-military industrial complex propaganda. You got actors that are straight up open about it. And who was the actor who had a CIA mug? Fuck, I'm blanking on it. I'm not good with celebrities. I'm not good with pop culture. But there's this guy, he was on The Office. He was like Pam's like boyfriend. He like openly CIA. He had like Twitter. He put pictures of like, yo, got my CIA mug, and he put his long post where he's like, yo, the CIA does great work for America. And you see like all these people always butting up to intelligence agencies.
It wasn't John Krasinski, was it?
Maybe. Like I said, I'm not good at celebrities, but hopefully you guys know who I'm talking about. He was with The Office. I'm gonna show you guys the CIA mug. I'm sure that would be easy to find. I can find that for you guys. Look at this though. I don't know if this is even worth reading because I think it just says it all. This is a pretty long article. No need to read this, but check this out. American politicians are saying like this explains this because this is not this article came out about 6 weeks ago. So this is very in and now. This is a very active, coordinated push. Another way for people to fall in love with the Democratic Party politicians and worship and elevate them. Do you guys remember this? Remember this?
You can't hear it.
Oh wait. I gotta restart it. My bad. Let me fix the audio. Mm-hmm. But I also want to show you guys this.
I mean, we don't really need to hear her voice, you know. You know.
Maybe I shouldn't put you guys through this torture, right?
Yeah.
But but this is
he was in Congress.
This is what they want to do right now.
Years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. He was a career politician. He did not work till he was like 41, and then he got elected to something. It was all just baloney, and I feel so bad that people got sucked in.
This is who they gave a Hulu series to.
Owned by Disney, by the way.
Owned by Disney. And now you see they are doing documentaries on Fauci. You see, Barack Obama is partner with Netflix, and now you got documentaries on Hulu. And check this out. What does this remind you of as well? This last thing I want to share on this. I had to find it again. Hillary. This is why I want to show you guys that clip. That horrible show won an Emmy. Hillary on Hulu has earned an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Documentary or Nonfiction Series.
Should have said fiction.
You guys want to know else who won the Emmy? Who that remind you of? Andrew Cuomo. So what is this about? Because I'm not into celebrity cultures, but look at this. This is from November when we all knew his crimes. Like, this is way after we knew about the nursing home scandal. Way after he cut Medicaid in the middle of a pandemic. Way after we knew that he was undercounting the deaths that are responsible because of his policies in the nursing homes. November 21, last year. Andrew Cuomo to receive International Emmy for masterful COVID-19 briefings. So we covered education, how education propagandizes us. We obviously covered CNN and how they propagandize us. We have an entire complex in Hollywood that giving Emmys to our oligarchs in order to do PR for them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know how crazy this is? Can you guys imagine? Maybe they do, but can you imagine if there was an operation in Russia that was doing this? That if you have a documentary like the one you see on Hillary, the one you see on Fauci, that was ran on Putin, we would look at that and they'd be like, "Bro, do you see how propagandized the Russians are? Do you see they had a documentary on Putin that they gave him an Emmy for? We are doing that here.
That propaganda.
So why when people read this title of this video are they shocked?
Yeah,
I seen people change their opinion on this, and this is great. But I've been tweeting this out ever since I had a platform. And I remember when I first was tweeting out how the U.S. is the most propagandized country, there was even some people on the left like, "Oh, I don't know about that, man. There's other states and other people got propaganda too." The propaganda in other states do not hold a candle to ours. Our propaganda is so thick and so effective. It got people repeating that we are a country of freedom, even though we lock up 1/4 of the world's prison population.
You guys want to talk about propaganda? Literally, for 13 years of your life, you stood up every single morning, 5 days a week, to say the Pledge of Allegiance to a piece of cloth in your schools and even at your sporting events. And you want to talk about that we're not that propagandized? We literally carved a fucking mountain with the faces of 4 presidents. And you guys want to talk about North Korea being propagandized because they got a statue of a couple of their leaders? Come on. Look, the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. I mean, we literally will have American flags on our bombers and will bomb other countries. All these other countries that are being oppressed by the United States, whenever they see an American flag, that's a death sentence to them. Like, you mean to tell me we're not? Hell, we even propagandize other countries because they think that the United States is the most greatest country in the world. And then it draws them over here. And then some of them, particularly those that are of a darker hue, once they come to the border, we beat them and then we tie them and then we whip them like we did at the border, and then we chase them away because they didn't come from the right countries, European. So guess what? So now, chickens come home to roost because of the propaganda. And we're seeing now that everybody still thinks the United States is the greatest country in the world, which it absolutely isn't. In fact, I argue that actually the United States is actually the worst country in the world because of the way it treats its people. It's the greatest evil in the world because of the things that it does to other countries and other peoples. But of course, then, everybody will look at me like, "Oh my God, we've accomplished so much." And it's like, On the backs of who? On the backs of who? And now, I just shared a tweet not too long ago that a lot of people that are in unions with the television industry are now have approved a strike because they are being exploited. America is the most propagandized country in the world. And that is one of my favorite quotes from you, Nick, because it's so true. It's one of my favorite quotes.
I got to tweet out every once in a while just to let people know, just to remind people, especially the people who I saw that was like, "Wait, I don't know about that." I just tweet examples. I tweeted the Fauci video. That's why I said that. I had to let people know because I see it every day. Because when you become a leftist and once you analyze how our capitalist corporate media works, you really, really can't unsee it. You really can't unsee it. When you see our country manufacture consent and get people to believe that we about to invade the Middle East to find weapons of mass destruction. I was a kid, like, how the hell are they doing this? How are they doing this? That would start my anti-war kickoff. I started off with George Bush. That would lead me to be an anti-war because I grew up during that madness. How do a country convince itself that they are doing the right thing when you see an insane rise of Muslim hate crimes that's responsible for this? And you see this too. And we talk about the DPRK, we talk about North Korea, right? Who the Black Panthers stood in solidarity with. A lot of people don't forget about this kind of stuff. People forget that. People wonder why I talk about foreign policy all the time. The Black Panthers was a very organized, internationally cognitive group. They stood in solidarity with Palestinians. They often spoke in favor of the DPRK in North Korea. Now, why do some leftists like me feel the need to debunk propaganda in North Korea? Because the U.S. propaganda directed at North Korea is extremely violent because we are responsible for the situation that North Korea is in. And if you don't think that it actually is violent, let me show you this poll. And this is because of American propaganda, which leads people to being pro-war. This is the negative consequences of this. Americans are terrifyingly supportive of nuking civilians in North Korea. Nuking them. A new survey finds that a third of Americans embrace a nuclear strike that will kill 1 million people. 1 million people. Now, let's think this through, guys. Let's think about this and let me explain to you guys why this is insane. And why people are turned into propaganda puppets. Because you see liberals that are extremely hawkish against DPRK, especially because of Trump. When he wanted to negotiate peace, they're like, no, we got ramp up tensions. If they do anything, we destroy the country. We destroy the entire country. You guys are insane. Think about your logic. So this is their logic. That North Korea is a dictatorship that is run by an evil dictator that is responsible for mass harm and destruction of his people. We must overthrow the North Korea government because they are evil to their people. So because they do not treat their people well, our response is to nuke them and kill them. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? And then if you are against North Korea, your response is, oh, let's sanction them. Sanctions are a war crime and an act of war that harms the citizens, not the oligarchs. So you guys are saying like, oh, I don't like the North Korean state. So since I don't like the North Korean state, I'm gonna punish them by punishing the people. But I don't like North Korea because they don't treat their people well. So I'm gonna bomb the people. Can someone explain the logic to me? This is why I speak out against it, because this is why they are able to sell imperialism. We talk about this a lot in the psychology of imperialism. Check out International Leftist Coalition panels. I've been missing a lot of comments. I apologize, guys. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's just this propaganda is turning us all into psychopaths. That's all.
That's the lie that this lady, I don't remember her name on top of my head, but she's a North Korean propagandist. She's an anti-North Korean propagandist. She's like a defector. And if you guys have not seen, maybe I should pull it up. Max Blumenthal did a great highlight on this lady that you're talking about. She was on Joe Rogan podcast, and she's like, "Yo, I left North Korea," and she tells all these insane lies about how North Korea, like the state of North Korea, that's easily debunkable, and to the point where she actually lost a lot of credibility. Well, even a lot of establishment people have been pushing her away. She's like, "All right," because they realize that she makes them look bad. Because people are like, "Whoa, why is she lying so much?" You know what I mean? Because she's been caught in multiple lies. And Max Blumenthal did a great highlight on this on the Gray Zone. But this is what the super chat here is one of the things that she said. She was on Joe Rogan podcast in front of millions of people. It was like, yo, North Korea has one train and we had to push the train. It was absurd. It was the most absurd lie. And people were like, wait, they're pushing trains? Like, what the? That is not true. And people say shit like, the people say shit about North Korea that is obviously not true. That is obviously false. That is propagated by our corporate media, right?
That's hilarious. I actually saw
but thanks for super chat.
Yeah, I saw a documentary on DPRK, and they went to the train station. I didn't see anybody push anything.
See, this is I love when people mock it because I see a lot of people on the left do this a lot because they would just people believe like and this is actually part of the anti-Asian like there's a lot of anti-Asian sentiment and Dr. Kareem Patel talk about this a lot and the racism of imperialism where the reason why people just believe anything that come out of the DPRK they believe anything that come out of Africa because honestly white America they see Asian people they see people of color and they like these people are uncivilized. That is their default reaction is believing people are uncivilized. So when people repeat lies like the North Korean people believe that their leader does not poop and shit, like people actually believe that, even though that's a lie. You know what I mean? So the reason why people believe a blatant lie like that is because they believe inherently that Asian people, the North Korean people, are stupid. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. People justify imperialism because they believe that Western powers should intervene in black and brown countries. The reason why they believe Western powers should intervene in black and brown countries because they think we are uncivilized. They think
less
they
than
need a white man. They think we need a white man to show them how stuff is done. That is the inherent racist justification in imperialism. And you see Voss, for example, guilty of this a lot. By the way, when he justified U.S. occupying countries. I'm gonna read some comments. I got a few more fun stories. I know we had some discussions about length, but I think I got another story. If you good, JB.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I also wanted to show that little infographic that I had.
Oh yeah. Show that. Oh yeah. So we're not done on Disney yet. We're not done, damn it. We're not done actually.
Yeah.
So if you want to show this. Like I said, we got a lot. Anyway, oh well, this is fun. We have fun. So you want to explain what this is?
So this is an infographic. So I don't know if you guys can see as I shoot. Sorry. So it says a map of the Walt Disney Company's worldwide assets, right? So it shows all the assets in film, television, music and radio, gaming, finance, theater, consumer goods, property and parks, publishing, and digital miscellaneous. And it goes into, like, for instance, you have Marvel Entertainment, Marvel Studios. You have 20th Century Fox. You have National Geographic. You have Disney ABC television group. Like, you have some friends and family that like to watch the History Channel. Well, yeah, that's owned by Disney. CSI, that type of channel, shit like that. Let's go down here, just so that people can see, the nitty gritty. Different ventures. All these different types of companies, right? They even have their own radio. So
this is another example of the myth of capitalist antitrust laws.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? But we are literally ran by monopolies. Our government is corporations. Corporations own our politicians, and they own all the means of productions. They own the flow of information. They control the flow of information. They control the resources that the workers should rightfully own.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of workers, Disney, once again, who should not even be a thing because of antitrust laws, is a deeply problematic and racist organization, and that has been well documented over the years. But what's most important is they have been horrible for workers. They are one of the most anti-worker organizations up there with Amazon. But what was you about to say, James?
Yeah, they even own GoPro, the cameras. Like, come on. They even own that. Like, there's so many things that they own, and the thing is that people, automatically, don't think we're that propagandized. But the thing is that you have so many different companies that contribute to the propaganda. It's not even funny. It's crazy. Like, let me be real with y'all. Real talk. Anybody who lives in Orlando knows what Advent Health is. Okay, Advent Health is it's not even a hospital. It's an entire healthcare system within Central Florida. They have multiple hospitals. Advent Health is also owned by the Adventist organization, which Seventh Day Adventist, different that Adventist religious organization that's owned by them. They literally have a Walt Disney wing in their hospitals, and they advertise Walt Disney in their hospitals here in Orlando.
Disney owned a big part of Florida real estate?
Yeah,
Jesus, fuck.
yeah. Well, even in
Christ.
hospitals, I mean, you can't go anywhere without Disney. I mean, Disney literally has this town by the Quijones. I'm not even going to say the actual
There's
word.
some great comments. There's some great comments if you want to look at them. I think it's hard to see it when you
I like the one where they said they cloned Mickey Mouse to create Fauci. That was that was beautiful. I love that one.
I love our community. Our community drops a lot of good knowledge.
Thank you, Jared. I'm gonna share this in my Twitter, by the way.
All right, cool. This is what I was referring to. Like capitalism, when we talk about the flaw of capitalism, they always point to stupid shit like antitrust laws. And Charlie Brown Rebellion points out, and there was a lot of great comments. I love our community. I love the comments that we are reading. So I think we'll take time to go through some comments. And I have another story, so I guess it'll be a longer stream. JB, you can drop out if you, because I know we said like an hour, but this is fun. It's been a while. I told you I got a lot to say because I ain't been fun. I ain't did a live in a while. God damn it! So I got a lot to say. Antitrust laws are useless if they are not enforced. Like our international human rights laws, useless if not enforced. Great comment, Charlie Brown Rebellion. This is why I say antitrust laws are garbage. And a lot of the checks and balances that you see people claim that it's great about capitalism, it's actually a myth. Like capitalism is a myth. They be like, well, capitalism is great because we got competition, and the competition allows wages to compete against each other. Like, bro, in what reality is this happening? In every time capitalism was implemented, it always leads to massive monopolies. Even hundreds of years ago, when you had the steel industry, like you had massive monopolies. This is what we see with Disney, what James just showed you, and what a lot of great comments are leaving, giving examples like how Disney own real estate, they own radio, they own so many things. Monopoly is the inherent result of capitalism. So when we talk about late-stage capitalism, this is the result of this. So when you have conservatives and you have liberals talking about, oh, we got competition. Like, bro, this what you guys are claiming is a myth, and it does not exist in reality. The same myth that they always say, the police protects us. Yeah. You got notice in the pattern here? You got notice in the pattern where capitalists actually don't say anything that's factual. They just have myth. They have capitalist dogma. And that's the job of friend the leftists, is to debunk capitalist dogma. And people left this lane for us because I see other left shows, they don't even talk about this shit. They talk about, oh, you see what Tucker Carlson said, bro? You see what they do like crazy. I can't even think of the fucking name. What's the other person they always talk about? Candace Owens. You see what they like do a reaction video on Candace Owens. Like, bro, you see Candace Owens. He says Ben Shapiro. Oh yeah, I'll blank on the thing. They're like, yo, Ben Shapiro. Like, I need people drop a video on Ben Shapiro every week instead of actually talking about this stuff that we need to be talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's just stupid because people they sleep on a lot of stuff. Like they don't realize how much hold these companies really have on everything. Like for instance, many of you probably know that Disney has its own cruise line, right? They have their own islands, they have their own train lines, they have their own bus lines. Okay, you see them all the time here in Orlando. You see a bus carrying people, to you know I think it's Cape Canaveral or whatever. To not Cape Canaveral, but where they have their cruise lines. I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know. Sorry, I'm poor. And
I ain't been
so
either. Like I'm
yeah,
very poorly traveled.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very proletariat.
yeah. And so um, even right now, um, Disney's going through another expansion. They go through expansions all the time, and the thing is that they have to expand because it's capitalistic to do so. They have to because if not, then that means that they just stay stagnant in their growth. Because
That's a That's a great
like,
point, James. And
mhm,
I want to explain this to audience that may not know this, right?
mhm.
Why capitalism is not sustainable. And I love that you brought this up. I'll pass it right to you. I won't be long.
Oh, sure, sure.
Capitalism is not sustainable because what is required of you as a capitalist? As a capitalist, it is required to have infinite growth. You can shatter. Let's use, for example, in 2019, you can shatter the record for profits in 2019, right? In 2020, you got to make more. You owe it to your shareholders that you need more, right? So there's actually been precedent set where if you do not try to increase your profits, shareholders can sue you for business malpractice. So as a capitalist in this system, you are obligated to maximize profit. So there's a point where your market value will be peaked out, will you be maximized, right? You're killing the game. So if you're killing the game and you reach your max revenue that's possible for you in the market, where did the rest of your income go? Where the rest of your revenue come from? It comes from workers. And that's why you have people that exploit workers. That's why this system that we have right now will always be inevitable, no matter what reforms you have,
Hmm.
because they will always need the money, and they will get it because under the capitalist system they own it. That's
Hmm.
why we call for socialism, because we want to own the fucking means of
Hmm.
production. But sorry, James, go ahead. I just want to explain that because I love that point, and I'm
Hmm.
glad that you brought it up. But I
Yeah,
wanted to explain that for people who may not be on the anti-capitalist train yet,
yeah.
right? So go ahead, JB.
I'm a piggyback off of what you just said. And because they gone so far that they can't make any more in the next quarter or the next year, the next fiscal year, what do they have to do in order to increase profits? They have to make cuts, which means your pay gets cut, your benefits get cut, or they'll fire you, or or what have you. Or they'll cut your break times. They'll do all these different things just so that they can maintain more profit. For instance, right now, Disney is expanding. So they have this land and they're expanding out more right now, especially like with the parks. They're creating more parks because they want to bring in more people to increase more revenue. Walt Disney World is the biggest theme park in the world, right? Um, Walt Disney got all that land on a steal because before Disney, that land was cheap as shit. And he bought it all. And as soon as he bought that land, it was like $100, I think, per acre. At the most back, I think in the '60s. Maybe it was less than that.
Shout out to Independent Left News. Shout out.
Oh, what's up, independent left, indie
Friend
left?
of the show. But go ahead, James.
And as soon as he bought it, I think it went up to $1,100 an acre. In the '60s, it went up to $1,100 an acre in that area, same area that Walt Disney had purchased. So because they knew that because of Disneyland in Anaheim, California. So now because Disney is now further expanding even more, how much land are they going to expand to the point where they can't expand anymore? So guess what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to start screwing people who live around there over, because they're going to have to start demolishing people's houses and demolishing different areas. And what about the natural areas, like that, like different areas where it's just wildlife area? So they're going to have to mow that down just to build more parks and build more resorts. And the thing is, this is the problem with capitalism. It expects infinite growth on a finite planet. The thing is that the earth is not expanding. It doesn't expand. It can't expand. So therefore, capitalism is actually an oxymoron. It is stupid. It is immoral, because the thing is that you're expecting to take over the planet. Capitalism is a cancer. And what does a cancer do? It grows and grows and grows until it takes over its entire host. And that's exactly what it does. So you cannot continue this same notion. Because of capitalism, what are we expanding and taking over and destroying? Look at the look at the Amazon rainforest right now. Look at it. It's being destroyed. Why? Because capitalism is a cancer. It needs to take over that resource. Look at what we're doing in the global south. Look at what we're doing in the poppy fields. Look at how we're doing. We're extracting all the oil out of the ocean. Look at how we're causing climate change. Capitalism in itself is a cancer. And the thing is that here's the funny thing. It's a human problem, and the only solution is a human solution. But the problem is that you got so many other humans that don't want us to apply the solution, because they focus on the short term. And because they focus on the short term, then guess what? They don't give a shit about your kids, your grandkids, and your great grandkids. They don't give a fuck about them. And so, guess what? That greed and that hostility towards future generations is going to kill us all. And so, this is why capitalism is dangerous and is deadly.
Yeah, and why do you guys think that capitalists are able to roll back regulations that lead to massive amount of polluting? I covered before how the black community has been completely destroyed through pollution because of corporations. Because we talk about the concept of maximizing profit. So let's say you stole a ton of wages from your employees, which, by the way, wage theft is by far the most. By far is responsible for more wealth stolen from the working class than even criminal burglary is. So they steal our wages. They try to maximize product revenue. Then once you get that point, you still gotta have more revenue. Then you have your lobbyists pay off the politicians, so you don't have to spend that much money and resources on protecting the environment. You can, instead of actually going through a process that may be expensive, let's just dump the toxic waste. We need to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
That's how shit happens. And people always say, this corruption. All we gotta do is get money out of politics. All we gotta do this. All we gotta do is do that. Like, bro, this corruption that we see is the inherent result of capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And this will always exist under capitalism, because as long as you have some a centralized location of the resources, which is the result of capitalism with the 1%, they will always buy out the public servants. Mm-hmm. And then you think you're gonna vote that out? It's not gonna happen. Look how far you guys got with that. Free Donziger as well, and that's Stephen Donziger. What's happened to him is the best example. You even have the international community that is calling for his release and for him to be paid reparations, because it was a corporate hijacking of our state by Chevron that led to him being prosecuted. Anyway, I want to get to the next story. We're 90 minutes in. I want to talk about this. I think this is pretty funny. Let me find the link. Oh yeah. Okay, so I got it. I think we're gonna talk about cinema and the discourse that is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been reported widely where you had protesters that they had enough. I mean, especially with Christian cinema and her corruption, it's so out and open. And as someone who knows this system is extremely corrupt, and knowing that two-party system is a joke that will always lead to corruption, and by the way, if you think Christian cinema is a problem, she is. But even if you vote her out, they're gonna replace her with someone else. This is the rotating villain. And there's reports that say, oh, you have big pharma, you have big oil, you have Wall Street that poured a ton of money into Christian cinema, and that's why she is corrupt, and that's why she's going against the agenda that even basic Americans and her constituents want, right? So you guys explain the concept of how a politician can be bought. So even if you guys get rid of Christian cinema, what's stopping for someone else from being bought by the same money that you guys just report can corrupt people? Christian cinema at one point supported an increase in minimum wage. She tweeted in 2014 that she supported a $15 minimum wage. Then, and she didn't support it when the party needed her not to. Right? When the party realized that they needed someone to be the villain, they picked Christian cinema. And Joe Manchin trying to step up and shine. And if you get rid of Christian cinema and Joe Manchin, someone else is going to take their spot. The same way you guys thought. Remember, you guys thought you were going to get rid of Democratic Crunch when you got rid of Heidi Heitkamp and Joe Lieberman. There's another Democrat that's just chilling in a purple state, in a red state, because that's why they picked Sinema. She in Arizona. She can run as I care about bipartisanship. Like, they do the calculations, right? There's someone else they're easily gonna pick. They're gonna pick some dude from Utah, right? They may pick someone from a deep red district in the South. Like, this is why Jim Clyburn do the work of Big Pharma, because it's a relatively safe district from him. Pick someone in the safe corporate district, and then they're gonna turn them with the same reason, the same way that Christian Sinema was turned. So there's no way you're gonna vote your way out of this. That's why I want to be clear with this. But even Democrats had enough of Christian Sinema shit, to the point where there was a video where she was called out on the airport. She ignored her. She was still very nice. Christian Sinema was then called out while she was in the restroom stall. You want to explain that concept, James, since you brought it up? I'll pass it to you, and I'll see if I can find the Christian Cinema receipts.
I'll read it. Let me expand it just a little bit. It is in the Urban Dictionary. It's called rotating villain. It says, in American democracy, when the majority party has enough votes to pass populist legislation, party leaders designate a scapegoat who will refuse to vote with the party, thereby killing the legislation. The opposition is otherwise inexplicable and typically comes from someone who is safe or not up for re-election. This allows for maximum diffusion of responsibility. So that's basically what happens. It's like, okay, who's going to be the villain this time to say no, just so that we can say, hey, we can't because this person won't do it. They'll say no. Right now, her name is Kristen Sinema. She's going to be one of the favorite ones to use just in case. It's going to be Joe Manchin. Then it's going to be somebody else.
Claire McCaskill in Missouri.
Yeah.
By the way, and you guys want to know how this completes itself? You guys want to know how the rotating villain works and why electoral politics in America is a joke? Because Kristen Sinema is cool, and this is why it's actually pretty refreshing, because she's just out in the open about this. She's like, bro, if I leave the Senate, it's cool. I'm gonna get a corporate gig. like she's straight out like open about it. That's why she don't care that people are pissed off that she might get voted off, right? And then this is how, even if you lose and if you do the bidding of the corporations, that's okay. Because if you lose, you get a job at MSNBC as an analyst. You get a job as a corporate lobbyist. My senator, Claire McCaskill, who lost to Josh Hawley, she was a Trump Democrat. You guys realize she was so right-wing in Missouri, here as a Democrat in Missouri. She was completely voting along Big Pharma lines, and she ran to Josh Hawley's right on immigration. I can find the old campaign ads. I used to see them on TV. She ran an ad that said, yo, you guys, if you guys want to support Trump's border wall, support me, Claire McCaskill. I am against immigration. I am with Trump on this issue.
And now she's on MSNBC.
And people wonder why I didn't support her. Like, fuck you. There's no way I'm going to support a Trump Democrat. There's no way. Then she lost. And an important point to highlight, she was very class loyal. Like, very pro-Wall Street, very pro-war, and her time in the Senate. She was as bad as a corporate Democrat as you get. But it doesn't matter if she loses, because now she got a lobbyist position.
Yeah.
Now she at MSNBC making a ton of money. And then Heidi Heitkamp, another centrist that lost. She work as a corporate lobbyist right now that fighting against the infrastructure deal. So even if you run your job as the centrist Democrat, as the rotating villain, is to block any legislation that goes against the donors of the Democratic Party. And if you lose, they will take care of you. And then when you lose, they take that money they will spend on you and they just spend it on someone else. It goes to my earlier point. Anyone writing stories about how Kristen Sinema was corrupted, where's the safeguard that stopping that from happening again? There's nothing.
Whoa.
Because it's a party of capitalists.
Whoa. I debated Josh Hawley in high school? What?
You gotta tell the story on that. That's crazy.
Please tell us the story. Spill the tea, Narissa. Go ahead, please. That's
all right. That was a pretty long setup. Hopefully, you guys like. I don't want to play this whole video. I can just give you guys a little bit of the background of what we were talking about with the Christian Cinema thing, just in case you guys are just now getting caught up. So, Washington, there's a lot of dialogue. Like the audio is not really that important. There's a lot of dialogue going on about what happened here in Washington and Washington groupthink right now. Right now, they're writing "woe is me" stories about Christian Cinema, and you see this with the right wing. And what they're doing, they follow Christian Cinema into the bathroom. And
we knocked on doors for you to get you elected, and just how we got you elected, we can get you out of office if you don't support what you promised us.
We need 7 million citizenship for 7 million. We need the Build Back Better plan right now.
So the same way that Cinema was, she was a confronted airplane. Now she confronted here because she's the rotating villain of the day. And to be clear, I am 100% for all of this. But this Chris Cinema is the rotating villain. But every politician should be having this pressure on, right? Like we see right here. You see, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of pressure on George Bush Jr. when he come out publicly, but that should be on everyone who's responsible for the Iraq War. The same heat that George Bush get is the heat that Joe Biden should get every single fucking day. Every single person who is a puppet of Wall Street, which is the entirety of the Congress. The U.S. Congress is the most violent institution in America. Everyone should take this heat. Everyone. There are people on the right that's like, yo, this is unacceptable. I'm going to see if I can find a tweet. Rand Paul came out with a statement like, yo, I actually got disagreements with Kristen Sinema on some things, but I think this is actually unacceptable. And look at this. Jonathan Shit, as I like to call him. One of the most most pro-establishment motherfuckers of all time. Listen what he had to say about this. And this is the rhetoric that I see out of Washington right now. By the way, what percent of people defending protesters stalking Cinema in the bathroom would defend it if it were right-wing protesters doing the same to AOC? I go with, pull out a calculator, punch it in some numbers, 0. So the overall point they are making here is that, we shouldn't be doing this to AOC. We shouldn't be doing this to Christian Cinema. We got to be nice to the politicians, James. We gotta respect your mental health. They're responsible for the consequences of what's going on in your life. They're responsible for mass death overseas, responsible for millions of deaths. They're responsible for child labor and sexual assaults at the border. They're responsible for tear gas being used on protesters. You know, there are women that have miscarriages because of the police violence that happened last summer and happened all the time. So the state always uses violence against us, and then they demand civility on us. This is why
I thought they were pro-life.
They demand civility of us, but they show us no civility and grace. No civility and grace. Look how they treat Stephen Dowdinger right now. Mm-hmm. Look how they have, once again, I explained this before, they got black men in that serving life in jail for a drug that white oligarch business people are making millions off of. We have police violence where people think, even if you resist arrest, that does not give the cops due process to kill someone. But there are people that legitimately believe that if you resist arrest, that's a death sentence. That is what these people argue. The people argue that any resistance towards a thug in uniform should be a death sentence for what? For what? this trained guy may let this guy get away, then find him again. That's your fucking job. Your job is not to kill him. But people will literally believe and they will use resisting arrest as a reason to kill someone. But you see, there's no grace given to these people. But all the grace in the world given to, from Johnson's shit to the politicians like Christian Cinema. Right? What's your thought, JB? Because there are a lot of tweets like I can show you guys that have shit libs, and a lot of conservatives, a lot of the bullshit conservatives who pretend they're like edgy and anti-establishment. They're using this to say, "Oh, you guys, this is another example of the left being intolerant, the intolerant left."
Oh man, they're following into the bathroom. Oh my goodness! Next thing you know, they're gonna use somebody who's transgender to follow them into the bathroom. Oh my god! They're gonna find some reason. Oh, we need to make it illegal for you to follow them into the bathroom now.
Let's see if I can find the example I was thinking of. Sorry, JB, go ahead. I found an example I want to show you guys.
Look, if your people are dying or if your people are being put into financial ruin, you're goddamn right I'm going to follow them into the bathroom and I'm going to make them as uncomfortable as possible because they work for us. It is not the other way around. So guess what? Yes, if you're a dude and you're standing at the urinal next to Joe Manchin, you better question his ass. So he has to hold his shit and pee and go into the stall. And you stand next to that door and you question him some more because he has to hear it. The thing is that no, make it so that it is toxic to be the rotating villain, that it's extremely uncomfortable to be a rotating villain, so they can't not rotate a villain anymore. Because that's one of the things that you have to do. Because we're sick and tired of dying. We're sick and tired of all this BS about us having to wait longer. Let's wait for us to get more progressives in Congress. No. That's not going to work. Look, do what you can. Make them uncomfortable. If you need to make it so that they can't think straight because things are so loud, because the thing is that if we're uncomfortable as the majority, guess what? It's supposed to be a representative democracy and a constitutional republic, right? So if they're not doing their jobs well.
And you have to realize that there are a lot of progressives that push this shit too, right? These are the people who got mad at Rome because there were people at the Medicare for All march in Detroit that was like, shame on AOC. They were saying shame, shame, shame. And then people was mad because they were like, oh my God, these people are being mean to AOC. That's the same shit. That's the same shit. And I put back against that, and I will continue to push back on that. We are too easy on our politicians. Imagine what France sees us going to Christian Cinema at the airport and politely confronting her, and they like, these people are soft. These people, we are soft. We are soft. Do you know the crimes and do you know the wealth that is stolen from us because of the policies and legislation that these people are responsible for? And I saw this great take. These people should be having this pressure all the time. I like this guy. Good take by him. And they said bullying Christian Cinema won't work. Okay, well, not bullying Christian Cinema won't work either, so might as well have fun with it. And a lot of people that are doing that civility shit right now and rhetoric, and it ain't got us nowhere. We need to be at these people's house. And go ahead, JB. I got something else I want to show you guys as well.
No, but I want to ask you, Nick, did you see that video when in France where they were spraying shit on, I think, a politician's house? Like, you want to talk about us going inside the bathroom? They literally took a truck and sprayed shit all over their mansion. And you want to talk about,
yeah.
Come on. The French are based.
Bro, the French look at us and they was like, bro, you just confronted her nicely at the airport? Only in the restaurant? Like, what? It's nothing. It's nothing, bro. Do you know what these communists in the global South do? You know what the kind of pressure they're willing to put on their politicians? Meanwhile, you got people that still apologizing for politicians. People who make diss videos on me who like, oh, Nick was mean to Nina Turner. Do you know how stupid that is? And that's part of the video that we talk about now. The U.S. is the most propagandized country because people are conditioned this way.
Yes. I'm sorry.
And people say, "Oh, well, if you think LC," I've seen this people say this example all the time. Like, if it happened to LC, people will be melting down. And to be fair, they are right. They are right. If this happened to LC, people will be melting down.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a politician. My stance on this is that these people should always be taking public heat. And I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite videos of all time. I've shown this on my show before on Social Cinema. But it's probably my favorite video because I would never understand why Nancy Pelosi does not take this pressure all the time. Now, I'm going to show you guys this video, and I'm like, my response was, is this too much to ask for? This is the pressure that Nancy Pelosi should be facing all the time. This is, and especially considering the theme of this video, which is immigration, this is the pressure that the Joe Biden administration, that Kamala Harris, that Chuck Schumer, that Nancy Pelosi, that everyone in the Democratic Party establishment, including AOC, everyone should be taking this pressure that you see in this video right now. So the question that these liberals are asking, do you think that other politicians should have this in the cinema? The answer is overwhelmingly yes. Look at this video.
Okay, you've asked them.
As you watch this video, and I'm going to show you guys why this is one of my favorite videos. As you watch this video that's held at Nancy Pelosi's press conference, I think this was, look at her composure throughout this video. The composure that she shows throughout this video is very Trumpian. Exactly like Donald Trump. And it shows that she is not used to being confronted in this way. With people who are demanding action and setting the tone of the conversation. So look at how upset she is and how poorly she handles this. Which leads to a rage quit. But check this out.
Okay, you've asked them.
Look at her.
You've asked some question. Okay. I totally agree with you. But as we fight the fight for the dreamers, which is our... Do you want to listen or do you just want to shout? Yeah, I got it.
They talk about the deportation that the Democratic Party is complicit with, by the way. If you guys need some background, which I think should be obvious, right? The Democratic Party is the party of white supremacy. And Nancy Pelosi was called out to her in her face. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and everyone should be confronted with this every day.
We fight the fight. It's clear you don't want any answers. Just stop it now. Let's stop it now. Look, I want to tell you something.
She's shaking.
Why do we do this? Since you don't want to listen, we'll have to just go. You don't want to.
Every day. If you want to know my answer to the question, do I endorse this? Every day. In the bathroom, in the restaurant, their homes, at the press conferences, that they don't have. You guys understand that the reason why people are lashing out at Kristen Sinema like this is because she has not held a town hall in like a year. How is that even legal? How is it legal? You should be required to have a town hall every fucking week. I said it before on one of my old shows that I think the press secretary should be abolished. Why do we even have a Jen Psaki? The role of Jen Psaki is like, oh, we got to speak for the president because the president's so busy. No, the fuck he's not. You think Kristen Sinema is busy? No, the fuck she's not. She got AIDS. The AIDS do all the work. And then the politician is the public face. They got plenty of time to address the public at least once a week. At least once. With no press secretary. I want to see Joe Biden, not Jen Psaki. I want to see Donald Trump, not Sarah Huckabee Sanders. confront the media and explain why they are implementing the policies that they are implementing. That is at least what we can expect in a democracy. Meanwhile, you got people like, "Whoa, we gotta protect the democracy." What democracy?
What democracy?
So that's why that's my favorite video. Because, and I told you guys, Nancy Pelosi is very Trumpian because look at her response. Responding the exact same way you expect Donald Trump to respond. Rage quit. You don't want to answer. Shut up. Shut up. Like unhinged. The same way Dianne Feinstein responded to the children that protested climate change in office. These people are just like Trump. This is why I never had Trump derangement syndrome. But with JB, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
She was talking to them like they were children. And their chair, they were like, yes or no. And if she would have said yes, then they would have been like, woo, yeah, okay. And then they would have quiet down a little bit and let her answer. But she wouldn't give an answer. Why? Because she didn't agree with them. That's why. And you get, you sit there going, well, she just needs to give a more nuanced answer. No, the answer is yes or no. Because the people are sick and tired of being talked to like a politician. And that's really what it's about. They're going to get that politician the answer. And then people, because they don't want their feet to be held to the fire by the people. And I do agree that, we shouldn't have a press secretary. But unfortunately, Nick, the media is still complicit with them anyway. That's the only thing.
You see how the press has to ask Joe Biden for permission to ask questions? The most absurd shit I ever seen. People think we're not a propagandized state. Like you have the reporters, yo, Biden, can I ask this? And they gotta have questions screened. How is that legal? Like a politician screening questions? What kind of fucking banana republic failed state is this? Where you literally have reporters that gotta ask permission to ask certain questions. Leftists, I told you, I tweeted this earlier. Being a leftist in this country is watching this crazy society that makes no sense being ran and operated. It is watching the worst people, the worst of the worst, the war criminals being praised as heroes. And then they treat us like we're crazy when we call it out. When we call out this propaganda. You guys see the title of this video.
Yeah.
So this is I had good fun. I had a good time. I'm gonna get some comments, and I got one more quick story. The last story we'll do is really fun, but I'm gonna see what comments that we missed. I was gonna say we got Didi in the chat. Shout out to Didi.
Oh, Didi, by the way, I think he's drinking blue Gatorade.
Yeah, it's gone now though. It's gone. we got one more story.
Mm-hmm.
But she mad because I didn't read the comments. But like, bro, when I'm doing the story, I'm fired up, bro. I'm trying like. You gotta stay focused, just stay in the game. Like, bro, I was on Jimmy Dore and I was like, bro, I'm not even watching the chat, bro. This shit's crazy. Like, I was like, bro, there's no way I can stay focused doing that. So
yeah, no.
Let's see if I can catch up. Let's see if I can catch up on some comments, and I'll do my last story. We'll do another fun story. We do a long stream that I had planned today, but we've been out for a few days, so I had a lot to say. And I did this live stream because we supposed to do International Leftist Coalition tonight. No International Leftist Coalition tonight, but we will be on tomorrow. You guys saw the super chat from our good friend Josana. She will join us tomorrow with Kareem Vitesh and Peter Beatty. That's like a weekly show. Like we got like a solid fucking thing going on there. I want to get. I was talking about Jackson Hinkle earlier. I know he agreed to come on. I gotta hit him up. Maybe we can get him on tomorrow or so. We see. But I want to talk to some more international people, like some Iraqis that was actually victims of George Bush's crimes. Because I had an interview with the anti-war activist that called out George Bush. He was a veteran, Jed Sprague. And I think that's very important to hear from the activists, but I think it's also important to hear from the people who are victims of the U.S. imperialism as well. And that's why I want to bring more people from the Middle East, a lot of people from the global South. We're going to have hopefully some activists from Brazil, from South America that have been mobilizing against Bolsonaro, which is a leader that has been installed by our capitalist state as well. So International Leftist Coalition, that'll be tomorrow evening. Straight Out Politics tomorrow. I think it's about 3 o'clock if I remember right, for CJ, 3 p.m. Eastern. Straight Out Politics. Make sure you guys check that out. We are back. We hitting the ground running, and that's why I wanted to do this live today because I knew we're not doing international leftists today. So I'm like, all right, I want to get on camera. I want to talk some shit with you guys. So sorry if I missed some chats, but I've been fucking ranting too much. Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, Sab. I think Sab be going live tonight too. Thanks for reminding me, the people in the chat. I'll try to see if I can find any more questions. Then we'll move on. The last story won't be too long. Jimmy Dore is on Savvy Sab tonight. I think she was mentioning.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she
I
told us that
forgot.
early. Yeah. We found out. Yeah, she told us about that days ago.
Yeah. She told me about it before. I forgot it was today though. Dude, I gotta watch that. Dude, I'm gonna
Oh,
watch that. Bro, I'm
yeah.
gonna be chilling. I'm gonna watch Savvy and Jimmy Dore.
I'm
Like, bro,
I'm out of edibles, man. That would have perfect for that too.
Hey, I got some shit. So I got some shit. So it might be dope.
Hand it to me through the screen. Just give it to me through the screen.
Man, go FredHamptonLeftists.com. Hit JB up, man. FredHamptonLeftists.com. But that interview might be fire. Like I always have fun talking to Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
And I always give him live props because when you look at the egos that are part of the boutique left, the privileged left, they like the TYTs, the majority reports, they're not inviting like poor disenfranchised people on. Like they invite people on, they have a Harvard degree or they got a giant platform. You had Kyle and Crystal who invited Vaughn. Why did they invite Vaughn? Because he had a giant platform. It's not like any intellectual curiosity there. It is everything they do is business calculated. You know, just I'm gonna make a business move here. I'm gonna talk to this person because he got a big platform. But big props to Jimmy because he came on Friends Leftists. He platformed me, and like the vast majority of his audience had no idea who the fuck I was. But that helped us. That's helped us. And I went on his show like, bro, he platformed me, and this is why people won't ever platform Friends Leftists. We've seen what happened when we had some other white leftists that tried to platform other friend like CJ, for example, but they don't platform us because I would go on your platform and I would say I wanted the police to be abolished. And that's what I did. I went on Jimmy Dore's show and I said, yo, I believe in police abolition. And then I said that he invited me back on. So I was like, oh, bro, he cool. Because there was some conservatives like, what did he say? Yeah, let's have this conversation. Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna have police abolition panel this weekend, Friday.
Ooh, that's gonna be good,
bro. Fred Hampton Leftists, bro. We got a lot of stuff planned for the future. Like this is like Fred Hampton Leftists 2.0 because I promise you, like I wrote an op-ed in great detail. Now I'm talking shit. I'm moving to the last story here, soon. But I wrote an op-ed in great detail outlining why we should defund the police and lead to a road to police abolition. And in the op-ed, I debunked all the talking points that you hear. Show me one op-ed that is in favor of giant police budgets that will debunk my talking points. Show me one time where the police operated the way that the giant police budget advocates claim it does. It always been a system that enforced racial hierarchies. In turn, the police in America was responsible with coordinating with the KKK and white supremacist groups, and that's how they was able to lynch our community with no justice. They didn't care. They coordinated in order to get that done. They implemented the black codes. They started out as slave patrols. So people were like, oh, well, the police has lost their way. All we gotta do is at what point? At what point was this police ever worked the way you said it did?
They lost their way.
Oh, it started out slave patrols, but man, and then policemen, they lost their way, man. We got to put some reforms in.
So
bro,
stupid.
You guys realize that Minneapolis reformed their police 5 years before Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd. Police reforms don't work. They laugh at your shit-lit reforms. That's why things continue to get worse. FBI did an investigation, and they said the police have been hijacked by white supremacist groups. And this is something that the black community have been saying for a long time. We've been telling you guys that the police is full of white supremacists through our songs, our poem, our entertainment. But now the internet came out. Now you guys see it firsthand. And you guys realize that this, I'm trying to stop myself before I get on this rant. But this is my last thing I'm going to say. The onus is on people who support giant police budgets to explain their position. Explain why we should spend this much money on the police when they do not solve violent crime. They saw less than 2% of violent crime. They're not saving you if someone busts into your house. They're going to fill the report out afterwards. They do not stop crime. Their job is to stop people from protesting, to forcibly evict people, poor people. That's their job. That is what they do.
Yeah.
So the onus is on you to explain why the NYPD has a police budget that is 3 times larger than the military budget of North Korea, that rivals the military budget of Iraq and Iran. Mm-hmm. I think it's more than Iraq. Explain how that makes sense. Mr. Small Government, Mr. Don't Tread on Me, Mr. Conservative. Explain to me how your idea of small government makes sense when you want to funnel money toward the military and prison industrial complex that don't even solve crime. So I'll flank you on that issue, you nanny state bootlicker. And I call all of them that because that's what you are. We had to end the stream, so I had to go at least on that one last round. What do you thought, JB?
No, we ain't in the stream, right? You know,
I got one more story, but I got one more story we're gonna do before we end. It'll be a long stream because we've been gone for a while. But I promise you, bro, put anyone in front of me. Police abolition. You guys are a joke. Like, people who believe in giant police budgets, they have not thought this through. They think police is actually like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. They watch Rush Hour, they watch Die Hard, and they think the cops are gonna break in like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You burst into this dude's house, I'm gonna save you. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that doesn't happen.
No.
And they believe it does.
Yeah. And they'll watch and believe me, y'all, including myself, y'all have been propagandized for police for forever. Do not come to me and telling me, oh, I haven't been propagandized by police when you're sitting there watching Zootopia. Don't come to me when you're watching Paw Patrol. Don't come to me about the police when you're watching Cops. You know, or your parents are sitting, or you're sitting next to your parents while you're a little kid at night, 8:00 at night on a Sunday night, and watching Cops or America's Most Wanted, and you're sitting there and they somehow propagandize you through the police to make it look like. Don't tell me that when you're watching Law and Order. Don't tell me that when you're watching CSI. Don't tell me that when you're watching Blue Bloods or Dragnet or Miami Vice. Don't tell me none of that stuff. Because y'all been propagandized for your entire life. And plus, people, and back to your point, Nick, they were talking about, oh, the police drifted from where they originally were. They originally were a white supremacist slave-catching group.
Yeah, I actually misspoke. You know, I caught myself, but I'm like, man, whatever, fuck. Because I actually made a mistake when I said that the police was hijacked by white supremacy. That's not true.
No,
I retract that statement because the police has always been an instrument of white supremacy. It's like I think a lot of you guys probably caught it when I said that. I was like, damn, that was sloppy. But what you guys know what I mean. And JB just brought it up. The police always been an instrument of white supremacy, and this liberal utopia of American police, it never existed. It never existed. That's why, once again, I posted this op-ed a lot on my Twitter. You will never see a counter op-ed to that will actually rebuke my points. I promise. Because if you look at my article, I took every single argument that you hear from big pro-police people. And I was on Ryan Knight Show, I explained it. Every single argument you heard, I went through it and I debunked all of them.
Yep.
And when I look at the coverage, that kind of arguments to defund the police, they never address it. You just see them repeat the same falsehoods. But I want to address the super chat. We got a comrade that live locally here. Mm-hmm. I met a lot of great home comrades on Twitter and that know me on YouTube. They've always been good. Mm-hmm. The Red Precarian said, Nick, I live about 5 minutes from that's Grandview. That's where I live. Unfortunately, a lot of my time is for my parents and my job. I donate for KC Tennis, though. Big props to you. I've been telling everyone on the show, stop donating to politicians, donate to KC Tennis. So, yeah. But I love that. I love that energy, man. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Because that's exactly who we should be donating to.
He sent a second super chat as well. He said, I'm security. I'm nice. No worries. Cops are just about useless. I have experience. They escalate the situation, not solve it.
I'm a martial artist. I don't care if people know where I'm at. If y'all got a gun and y'all want enemies, shit, I had it coming. I had it coming. Bro, but if you think you're going to just walk up to me, then bro, good luck. But anyway, but you see, I think that sentiment is changing in America right now. And I covered this on the story before. When you have Tommy Tuberville and you had the Democrats team up with him to pass the bill where they want to punish local governments for passing budgets that defund the police, when I saw that story, and this shows to the media propaganda, right? The media propaganda is insane. Because people took that and it was like, yo, this is evidence that the defund the police movement is weak and that the defund the police movement is dead. I'm like, bro, it's the exact opposite. You guys realize they do this because people in local governments are actually getting debates and conversations started, and they actually defunded the police in a lot of local governments. So they wouldn't have to do this if there wasn't momentum on our side. So despite the rhetoric that defund the police is a dying movement, I covered this on my show, they have exit polling results. They did polling earlier this year that show 55% of independents support the concept of reducing police budgets and putting that into education, healthcare, housing, and wages. Most people agree with that. The vast majority of Black America, the vast majority of Democrats, the majority of independents agree with that concept. And I covered that extensively on my show.
Chank don't want that smoke.
Yeah. Compared to where it was last summer. Last summer, defunded police and polling was minus 35. It was deeply unpopular, and there was only one group in America, despite the rhetoric, because the rhetoric was defunded police. Oh, it's just all white socialists, white out-of-touch people who want to defund the police. No, from day one, the people who supported defunded police was Black Americans and Democrats. Because the Democrat number was boosted by the Latino and the Black Americans who supported it. If you look at the white liberals in the polls, they all was against it. That drove the number down. So we went from that to like plus 40. Medicare for All has made great leaps and bounds over the last few years. But what policy have you seen in your lifetime go from minus 35 to now it's like plus 7? Plus 55 with independence. You never seen any policy. That's in 1 year. That's 1 year we made that change. And that's why you see the media doing hit pieces. That's why you see the media saying, oh, there's a big crime problem. Defund the police is a problem. They're doing that because they are scared, because our message, our platform have made incredible gains in 1 year. And I didn't even see that coming. And compared to what like people like Crystal Ball said, right? There were a lot of progressives last year that pissed me off and it showed their whole ass. Because remember what progressives said last year? Bernie Sanders was guilty of this as well. And progressives followed him. We can't support defund the police. Defund the police is unpopular and it's polarizing. Where do you guys hear this before? Don't do the bus sit-ins, guys. The bus sit-ins are unpopular. That's the white moderate that MLK is talking about. Joe Biden is the right winger. He's not the moderate. The moderate is the people that wave their finger at activists, like the progressive movement does now, and say, oh, you can't support defund the police. That's unpopular. I heard a lot of progressive, popular commentators say that. And why do you think we started for Hampton Leftists? Why do you think Black leftists started getting into this space? Because I've seen a lot of white privileged people get this issue wrong. So do you know the games I just talked about? And I'll pass it right to you, JB. The games that I'm just talking about, we made despite them actually hurting our movement. When they repeat the nonsense that we shouldn't support defund the police because it's unpopular, they actually hurt us. They give the illusion that we are being unreasonable. So the gains we made is despite the progressive base selling us out to the police state. That's the activists that did that. That's us. That is what we did. That is the message that we had door to door with neighbors. I talked to, and that's not even just me saying crazy. I talked to, he's a rural leftist, right? And he talked to me. He said he had an amazing line that got people to stop supporting the police in his highly conservative area. He was like, "Hey, yo, if you think the police actually protect you, the last time you called the police, how long did the response time take?" And remember, they live in a rural area. The response times here suck. But it's way longer there. He said it to a few people. They were like, wait, you're right. That's why the momentum changed. And you guys can read my op-ed I wrote on defunding the police. I promise you, the fact that these people don't have an answer to a lot of the legitimate criticisms I bring up of them, of their advocacy of giant police budgets, that's why we win. The same way Medicare for All won public perception, because people who defend private health insurance had no merit in their argument. That's why you fight, even when it's unpopular, despite what a lot of these boutique leftists want us to believe. But James, what you got to say? And then we can move on to our last story.
You said it all, bro.
I'm gonna sit, I'm
I'm ready. Yeah.
yeah, my bad.
It's all good.
I see accusations of silencing, but so I tell you, man, I got a lot to say today. I
No,
appreciate JB joining me today. I'm gonna be doing these a lot more often, where I'll just jump in and talk about some topics with you guys. We got some shows to fill as well, and you'll see a lot more roundtables as well. Because I think that's something that you guys like. We get feedback from you guys. So the Thursday roundtable is still on, but you can easily see me and JB and me and Sabby. I know Josana was watching. I'm gonna bring Josana back on too. We got a big community here. We just see a lot of good content come forward. I told you FHL gonna be stronger than ever, right? So yeah, no, I haven't gotten to the last story yet. Someone was like, "What?" Yeah, but the last story is more of a fun story. Oh, let me get set up. You got anything you want to say before I set this up?
No. I think we're good.
Okay. I'll start with this. The fact that Yang Gang is still a thing, it's hilarious to me. Andrew Yang, he was like, we're going to create another party. Because, America, when you look at the choices that we have, apparently we do not have enough center-right capitalist options. Apparently we don't have enough options that are pro-Israel enough as it is, right? Go to fredhandleftist.com. Thank you for the super chat, stylist. The $5. Go fredhandleftist.com. You guys can support us on Ko-fi. Support us individually if you want to donate to JB GoFundMe. You find dialysis as well. Wrong Tour for the Poor. If needs mutual aid. If you like any of our shows, you can support us individually as well. I appreciate the super chat and the support, guys. It means a lot because we're independent and we're fucking proletariat as hell. We're broke as hell. So any support actually means a lot to us. So, but back to Yang, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Andrew Yang was like, we don't have enough center-right capitalist options in this country. Apparently, we don't have enough pro-Israel alternatives. Apparently, and now he wants to start a new party. And what's interesting about this, I want to get your take on that first, JB. But I also want to talk about this as well. So there's two elements I want to cover in the story. The liberal reaction to Andrew Yang announcing that he wants to start a new party is hilarious, to say the least. I'm going to show you guys this here, and then I'm going to get JB to share it, and we get your opinion on the story here. Because Andrew Yang announced the fact that he's going to start a new party, and I can actually go through the tweet itself to show you guys the anti-democracy hysteria that come from liberals now. These are the same liberals that claim they believe in democracy, but they support the Democratic Party passing bills that make it harder for a third party to get on the ballot. They support the Democratic Party that was illegally forcing third party candidates off the ballot last year. The Democratic Party is not the pro-democracy party. They are anti-democracy, and their supporters are authoritarian and they're fascist, honestly. They openly cheer for third-party candidates getting kicked off the ballot. They openly cheer against democracy as long as their team wins. So, I'm not defending Andrew Yang. That's why I wanted to start off like, bro, Yang is a clown. The idea of him starting a party that believes the same shit that Democrats and Republicans do on the important issues, he's a big, giant police budget defender too. He defends the giant military-industrial complex. He's against healthcare. He's against nationalized healthcare. He's against Medicare for all. You guys realize his healthcare plan is the same as Pete Buttigieg. And you had Yang Gang defend it. So it's not me defending Yang, but look at the liberal reaction. And this is an account, live followers, 130,000 followers here. Malcolm Nance, this guy. U.S. intelligence.
Oh, Malcolm Nance? Oh my God.
U.S.
Are you kidding me?
36 years. And he's talking about how, and he is, to be fair, is ratioing the shit out of Andrew Yang. And this is as it was as a screenshot. It's probably worse now. But look at this crazy shit. And this is the one I want to highlight. But Andrew Yang been trending on Twitter for the last day or so. So if you guys want to see the liberal reaction to this and see how crazy they are, check it out. Look at this. Yang is responding in kind of a weak way here, like, why are you so scornful? Whatever. But Malcolm, he was like, I'm trying to do my Democrat impression in a way. The American experiment is under siege. Liberal governments are falling globally to fascism. Racism abounds. The world is literally burning right now. And what's your genius idea? To start a forward party to peel votes off from the only parties trying to save it all. You trying to peel votes from the party that is trying to save it all. And by it all, what he means, let's go through the tweet again to show you guys how crazy this is. Actually, JB, God, there's so much to say here. Before I break it down, I'm gonna get JB's thought because I've been going too long. Go, JB, what's your thought? You got anything you want to add before I continue?
Save it all. We gotta save it. The Democratic Party is the only way we can save it. The Democratic Party is the only way we can save it. Malcolm. Brother, come closer. Come closer. The Democratic Party is already a fascist party.
Boom. Sorry, bro. Sorry to tell you. Once again, that's a great comment by JB. Y'all, anything you want to add? Because I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break this tweet down. And this is why I'm covering this story. Like, it's funny to laugh at Yang. The Yang thing is hilarious for a lot of different reasons. Fuck Andrew Yang. He's a Zionist, capitalist trash.
Yeah.
But the liberal reaction says a lot about their psyche right now. Their psyche is insane. But JB, go ahead.
It is clear that Malcolm Nance has been sipping. Like, he hasn't even been drinking the Kool-Aid. He's been opening up the Kool-Aid packs and pouring the dust in his mouth. That's how propagandized this dude is. And he is completely complicit in it right now, number one. Number two, he's trying to outflank Yang from the right, what I don't even know. Like, it's just I don't even know what the I don't even know. It's just he doesn't even make sense. He's just so pro CIA to the point where it's like, dude, you think you're actually saving the country? You're the one who was championing Joe Biden, and you're talking about saving the country? Like, look, hold up. This dude want to talk about racism, yet he's involved in U.S. intelligence that has actually been one of the main, entities that has been oppressing people the same color as him, the same color as you, Malcolm Nance. And you have them doing that. In fact, let's go back. Let's do a little bit of a history lesson, Malcolm Nance. Who was it that actually took crack cocaine, put it inside?
Go ahead, JB. I'll be right back. Go ahead, JB.
Okay. Who took crack cocaine, put it into our neighborhoods, sold it to us, took that money, and then used that to fund imperialism into the global south? Who was it? Oh, wait. Was it the alphabet? I just spelled it with my hands. So, yeah, Malcolm. No, dude. Yeah, Joe Biden was, is part of all that. And then you're going to talk about Yang, who basically is no different than the rest of the Democratic Party. That's kind of silly, because here's the thing: the Democratic Party, it's just, how can I put it? Huggies or Pampers. Same thing, different name. Right? That's all it basically is. It doesn't make any sense. It's gonna be what? Marlboros or 305s. Which type of Stokey do you want? It's just like, what's the difference? They're both gonna kill you. I mean, Marlboros and Newports. They're both dangerous. Stupid. So I don't see any much difference. So it's just like, Really, Malcolm? That's like being a rep from Marlboro and talking about how dangerous Newports are.
Bro, that was the first one that came to mind, and I saw it on the timeline. But bro, just scroll the Andrew Yang timeline, and the shit-lived Twitter is, and that's the ones I can see because you guys realize I'm blocked by thousands of liberals accounts, thousands of them. I know because there was an app where you can check how many people who blocked you, but the app is severely undercounts because the only people that they show are the people who signed up for that app, and that app shows that like thousands of people blocked. Like, damn, bro, I'm not preaching black liberation politics. That's it. Damn. So it's like that many, but way more, right? So I don't even see them all. Like I don't even see all the Russiagators. I don't even see the like Rachel Maddow supporters and Joanne Reed supporters that much on Twitter. But the ones I did see, it was all the same shit that we seen from Malcolm Nash. Where it was like, Andrew Yang, you're gonna destroy democracy by peeling the vote for the Democratic Party. I can't believe you use a fascism this way.
Guess who gets the menthol vote? Probably the K Hive, you know.
Oh, like this is what he came out. He came out this an hour ago. We're having fun now, so let's watch this. Well, I'm not watching the whole 5 minutes, bro.
I know you heard
Let's
about
hear it,
Andrew Yang and the Forward Party. Now I'm here to tell you actually what it is. It's probably not what you've heard. What we're going to do is actually solve the problems that are literally driving us crazy. What am I talking about? Right now, we have this two-sided duopoly that's just clashing and clashing, and you may love one.
We had this two-party duopoly, but I'm not going to offer no alternative to what they believe in. Yeah, the Democratic Party, they believe in supporting the apartheid state of Israel. The Republican Party, they believe in supporting the apartheid state of Israel. So vote for us because we also believe in supporting the apartheid state. We also believe in the fact that you should go bankrupt if you don't have good health insurance. That's humanity forward. That's what they believe. They don't believe in Medicare for all.
This is capitalist competition. This is McDonald's, Burger King, right across the street from each other.
So I'm not watching the whole video, but we can laugh for at least a minute or so. But look, man, we just two-party duopoly. God damn it! If only I could get on the grift. that's just what it is. I don't actually fight for. I want to fund the police too. I want the police money. I want the police unions to donate to me. Why it gotta be him? Why it gotta be this? That's essentially what this is. That's essentially what two-party partisan policy is. Oh, how the fuck, man? Fuck Chris Cinema. I want that big pharma money, man, motherfucker. That's what pretty much he's mad at. He's mad that he's not in on the cut because you believe in the same shit they do. He won't give you UBI just so you can give UBI money to your landlord. By the way, he wants your UBI money to go to Big Pharma. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll watch a little bit more. We're not watching the whole thing, but let's have some fun.
One side more than the other, but you have to face facts that this system is not working. Unfortunately, the polarization is reaching record highs to a point where people can't be in the same room as family members.
Hey, Andrew Yang, we're not that polarized. You know what I mean? Vast majority of this country support Medicare for all. Do you? The vast majority, let me repeat myself, of this country supports Medicare for all. 55% independents, 70% Democrats support defunding the police. Do you support that? Vast majority of people think we should decrease the military budget. Do you believe in that? So are we polarized or are you operating in a different class consciousness? I think it's obvious, right? Anything you want to say, JB? Like I said, I'm going to laugh at a little bit because this is hilarious to me.
No, that's all.
All right, let's. I'll do another 30 seconds. That's all.
We're seeing literal violence.
How do people watch this shit and be like, yo, this shit is killing the game, bro? Like I'm 30 seconds in, and this shit reeks of nonsense and bullshit. It reeks. Like I look at back in the time when I used to like Barack Obama. I look at him speak now, and I'm like, bro, he sound like Pete Buttigieg. like people used to make fun of Pete Buttigieg. They used to say Pete Buttigieg does a bad Obama impersonation, and I used to say the same thing. But in hindsight, I disagree. I think he does a great Barack Obama impression now. But because listen to Barack Obama, listen to him now, bro. He sounds just like him. I can't unhear it. Like Barack Obama sounds just like Pete Buttigieg. He's not like Pete Buttigieg that went to a black church. That's it. Sorry, I'm having too much fun. Let's watch this video. Let's watch a little bit more.
Violence erupt, and it's going to get worse, not better. We're getting more and more polarized, in large part because the incentives of our political system, our media, and social media all are driving us against each other and making us feel like other Americans are our mortal enemies. 22% of Americans used to cross party lines when it came to national elections. That's down to 7% today. People aren't really appealing to the middle as much because that's not how you're.
I'm done. But last thing I want to say on this video, you guys realize that he's doing the bullshit unity dance. I don't know how anyone fall for this shit. He says, "Oh, the problem is that we're divided. The problem is that we disagree." And I mentioned before, we really don't. The vast majority of people, vast majority of Americans want to eat the rich. They want to tax the rich. The vast majority of Americans believe in that. You notice that he doesn't say the problem is, oh, the problem with America is that we have Wall Street that's running crazy. There's vast income inequality. We have kids in cages. We're literally funding fucking genocidal states. We are bombing multiple countries. You notice that he doesn't say that? Isn't that very telling? That he doesn't say that? But he like, oh my God, the problem is that we are not unified under the white supremacist capitalist state that we live under right now. That's okay. By the way, that's the least of our problems. But James, what do you gotta say? But that's the least of our problems.
Okay. So I don't know if y'all can see the paper really. Okay. So here is from the screen. Okay, so here's the right, there's the left. Okay. But it's all the way on the right side of the paper. So when they say, oh, we're polarized, they're polarized on the right, right? They're not actually polarized in the way they're saying.
Exactly.
So it's all just one big ploy, because the thing is that line where they talk about the middle, that line is way over to the right. So therefore, is it really the center? No. And the thing is that technically the left that he's talking about is just liberalism, which is basically woke right-wingers. That's all they are. So there's really no division. It's just a right-wing division that we're actually seeing. And by the way, most Americans are actually independent. So guess what? They don't give a shit about either party. That tells you something. So by the numbers he's going by, he's just talking about right-wingers. He's not talking about the rest of us. Not at all.
You guys know what I said on Jimmy Dore show? I told his entire audience, I'm like, yo, there's no fucking difference. If you're a Trump supporter and you watching this damn show, you realize there's no damn difference between what you support and Joe Biden and what they support, right? Like the thing that make the difference is the culture war shit. They do nothing but engage in culture war. If you look at all the influential conservatives, I see them all the time on the timeline, right? Where you see them and they only engage in culture war shit. They're not talking about hardcore economics. They're not talking about foreign policy. They're not talking about actual real immigration issues. You have to write that so dumb. They pretend that Joe Biden support open borders, even though he literally fucking deported more people than Trump. Like, Obama deported more people than Trump, and they were like, "Yo, Barack Obama and Democrats support open borders." Like they had to create this false divide. And I said this on Jimmy Dore show in front of thousands of people. Where I was like, "Bro, y'all believe in the same goddamn thing. Y'all believe in giant police budgets. Y'all believe in giant military budgets. You guys believe in trickle-down economics, both you guys, as an ideology. You guys argue about who believe in trickle-down economics the most. You guys argue about who gives the rich the most. Oh, I believe we should give tax cuts to the rich. Like Barack Obama, by the way, he actually made George Bush tax cuts permanent. They are complicit with keeping the corporate tax rollback more than what it was before Barack Obama. That the over to window shipping to the right.
Hey,
well, man, I need to get back on Andrew Yang. Sorry, I'm ranting about some bullshit. Yeah.
But Yifan Zhang said, "Great work, FHL. I hate Andrew Yang so much, and I'm Chinese. How do you think I feel about Pete Buttigieg? He's gay, and I don't like him and I'm gay. And also, and ask us about how we feel about Jim Clyburn. But don't get us started."
Like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat, my friend. It blows my mind when people say stuff to me like, "Yo, you're black. How can you not like Barack Obama? How can you not like Barack Obama? You're black." I don't like Barack Obama because I'm black. Because I'm black.
Thank you.
There's nothing worse than a betrayal. There's nothing worse than a betrayal. And Barack Obama was one of the most anti-black politicians, one of the most anti-black presidents in my lifetime. He tamed black wealth. He sided with Wall Street that destroyed our homes. He literally called the protesters in Ferguson. Remember that? He called them thugs. He's like, oh man, you guys are need to go back home. You guys are you guys realize Black Lives Matter started under Barack Obama for a reason. Yeah, JB is he's about it. He's about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm a big old socialist homo.
I gotta watch what I say. But yeah, JB's about it. We got a wide range of voices here. But yeah, people like, why you like Barack Obama? I hate Barack Obama because I'm black. Bro, if he was some white dude, I'm like, oh man, this fucking white people at it again. But Barack Obama was positioned and sold to us as like the black savior, the black liberator. And that was black celebrities like Jay-Z, Beyonce. Do you remember Did He Vote or Die? Like all these people, black celebrity, the capitalist class.
So stupid, yeah.
This is what they sold. This is what they sold to us. And Barack Obama was the largest instrument of white supremacy. Like he expanded the military-industrial complex. He expanded the police state in a way they would never be able to get away with. He expanded the national security state the way they would never get away with. He went after journalists in a way that no president ever did before and would never get away with, which continue with the president now. We have Biden continuing to go and get Julian Assange, right? Now, this is what Barack Obama started. His crackdown of whistleblowers and journalists was legendary.
You know what?
So, like, bro, if you black and you apologize for Obama, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's the exact opposite. People look like you have fucking black shit libs that look at me like, yo, you black, you don't like Obama. How is that possible? No, you black and you like Obama. How the fuck is that possible? I put onus on you.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
You know what I appreciate about a lot of our white allies? They feel about Joe Biden the same way we feel about Obama. I appreciate it about our allies.
You got this. I want to get your response to this question from John. I'm sorry that I missed a lot of the questions in the chat. So I'm trying to catch up before we wrap up. We do like a 10-minute Q&A. We wrap up. I think we're done with the Yank story.
Yeah.
But he said, Nick, do you think Obama was seduced or began that way? I'm interested to hear JB's thoughts. I thought back, like I'm really radicalized now. I can go in a long spill about this. But I remember back in the day, I thought like, yo, Barack Obama. Like back when I was starting to become radicalized against Barack Obama, maybe it was like 2008, 2010. To give you an accurate timeline, when 2012 hit, when Mitt Romney, that's the last time I ever voted for Lesser Two Evils. And I was like, damn, I don't want to do this. But I remember I was afraid of Mitt Romney, bro. I was afraid. That's how Mitt Romney. I was afraid. I was like, bro, Mitt Romney's crazy, bro. I thought that he was gonna be like another George Bush because I didn't understand at that time that Barack Obama was like George Bush. But I remember I still was disappointed in that vote. And then I was so disappointed in Barack Obama's second term that led me to vote for Joe Stein in 2016. Because I was like, bro, never again will I will ever be complicit with this shit. Because once again, I learned more about Barack Obama's crime in the second term than I did in the first term. The first term, I realized that he wasn't who he said he was. But I didn't go as far as like Dr. Cornel West would go. And I explained to people before that Dr. Cornel West played a pretty big role in radicalizing me against Obama because I remember seeing the debate and dialogue that went between him and Michael Eric Dyson and a lot of black shit lib intellectuals, right? And it through hearing Dr. Cornel West, that's when I started looking to the stuff that like the war crimes and the Wall Street pay-to-play politics that Dr. Cornel West explains, how Eric Holder was a plant for Wall Street. Like you guys realize that, right? Eric Holder was celebrating, oh my God, we got a black attorney general, whatever. Bro, he was a plant for Wall Street. And his role was not to prosecute Wall Street bankers as they illegally foreclosed on black homeowners. That's class war against our community that Barack Obama was responsible for. And once again, even when I was disillusioned with Obama, I didn't even know that though. I just knew that Barack Obama was doing some stuff that he said he wouldn't do. I knew he broke some promises. But then the second term is really when I flipped. And that's when I was like, this dude is nefarious. And then you hear about now, like now he gave an interview where he said when he took over for George Bush, he was upset. And he said, and this is public, he said this publicly, he was upset because he thought the American people was being unfair to George W. Bush. when he took reign. Remember, Barack Obama gave him a tour of the White House. They became friends. They became friends with Michelle Obama. I'm gonna see if I find an article. I like this. I like to show my work. But he said, I was actually kind of disappointed because right now we should be in a place of healing. And even though we had the protests, I think that was unfair. I think the American people being too unfair. So that shows me that he was always class loyal, and the fact that he took record amount of money from Wall Street. That shows me that what I didn't know before, that Barack Obama was sent in to do this. That's why they got behind him. They would have loved if Hillary Clinton won, but they funded Barack Obama for a reason. They platformed him at the Democratic National Convention. I think it was like in 2006, right? In 2006, he gave his big speech at the National Convention. That's when he became famous because people were like, yo, who's this young black man? He's very charismatic. He got a future. They platformed him at that convention to begin with because they wanted him to do that. And Barack Obama honestly delivered. Like that was his Michael Jordan moment. And he delivered, honestly. For a neoliberal politician, he did a good job, and then they pushed him. So to answer your question in a very long-winded way, Barack Obama, I used to think he was corrupted by system, but when you look at all the evidence, it's clear that he was sent to be an agent of the establishment for day one. I'm sorry, I took that question, JB. I said, my bad, bro. But you got any thoughts? And I'll see if I can get one more chat, and then we wrap up.
No, I mean he was a perfect plant, okay, because he was young, mildly attractive, depending on your who you are and what you like. Deep voice. Was suddenly involved in Chicago politics. That means he fought for the black people in the black community. They talked about his community organizing a lot. And then they also, let's be real, he wouldn't have been as popular if his wife was white. Let's just be honest. So he had a black wife, 2 black daughters, and he went to Ivy League schools. Even wrote in the Harvard Law Review. So they basically drummed him up to be the lawyer version of Heathcliff Huxtable. That's what they did. So that, number one, it would propagandize a shit ton of black people and shift them to the right. That's what they wanted. They did it with Bill Clinton because he said, and let's be real, even comedians are complicit in propaganda. And all those comedians that actually gave jokes about, oh, well, Bill Clinton was actually our first black president, that was propaganda too. And I don't want to hear anything from anybody saying otherwise, because guess what? You were laughing at it and it put that in your brain. And then when Barack Obama came, then it was like, and then a lot of black people, let's be real, some black people, they voted for him just because he was black, because they were like, we need to see a black president. And so the Democrats knew that. The Democrats were brilliant in that. They were brilliant to put Barack Obama there because they knew that it was going to be something stellar. And so they did it. And the thing is that the question was, Barack Obama more of an agent? Yeah, because if you look at his cabinet right before he went in, everybody on the left, and by the way, I was an outsider looking in because I was not in politics at all. I didn't start getting into political theory until 2018 when I was voting for the Florida governor. So back in 2008, when all this was going on, I was watching MSNBC and CNN and all that bullshit. And I was seeing that some people were having concerns because a lot of the people in this cabinet were involved in Wall Street. Like people like Tim Geithner as a Treasury Secretary. So yeah. He was in on it from the beginning. They just needed to make him look like he is appealing to the left, just so that they can have that person in the White House to kind of make everybody fall asleep. So,
big shout out to Josana. But yeah, I can rant about Obama all day. I think we're gonna do International Leftist Coalition panel tomorrow. I think Josana will be joining us. Josana been pretty powerful step at FHL, and trust me, you guys are gonna see a lot of her coming up. So big shout out to Josana.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a good comment. I'm sorry I missed it. I think I highlighted it earlier, but I told you guys there are a lot of signs that Barack Obama was a plant from the beginning. And a great comment mentioned that that's why he chose Joe Biden. That's another good sign. Because if Barack Obama actually was a good faith actor who meant well, you do not pick Joe Biden.
Mm-mm.
Joe Biden was a pick. The Joe Biden pick was a sign to Wall Street, like, yo, back us, we got you.
Mm-hmm.
We talking bullshit. Like the shit that Barack Obama said about holding you accountable. Bullshit, bro. Bullshit. Look, we got Joe Biden. We got Biden, bro. Cool. We're cool. So that was a good comment. I'm sorry I missed who shared it, but we got another super chat, and then we wrap up. I think it was pretty fun live. From Zhang, thank you for the $20. Wasn't Obama's mom in Indonesia doing anthropology work at the time when Indonesia right-wing government massacred 100,000 ethnic Chinese? Wow. So I didn't know this. He was the son of a weaponized immigrant, his mom. So I don't know that much about, honestly, that background. That's very interesting. Thank you for the super chat, though. Also, thank you for the super chat, Anthony Bracati. And I'm gonna be doing more of these, and it was fun. Once again, I always do this. People laugh at me on my YouTube channel on Socials That May, because I'm like, yo, we about to go for like an hour today, and then it ended up like a 2-hour stream. Because I think we got a pretty solid community here. You guys leave a lot of good questions, and I'm sorry I missed some questions, but we to wrap up on Obama because I'm gonna go on another rant and be on here all goddamn day. But I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these where I jump on. We talk about what's going on, tied to revolutionary politics as well. Take questions from you guys, and also I want to let you guys know that I think, because I want to get off definitely now, because I think Savvy is about to go on with Jamie Dore.
Oh yeah,
so we definitely got to wrap up right now. So we go check out Sabby Sabs on her channel. The interview with Jimmy Dore about to be fire, especially right now. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah. Let me see if I can put the link in the chat.
Yeah, we have International Leftist Coalition with Josana, as you guys seen. That's tomorrow evening. Straight Out Politics with Compton J in the afternoon. Thursday roundtable should be around 5 p.m. Eastern time. That week, next time you guys will probably see me and JB together. And then Friday, I got police abolition panel planned. So you guys heard me talk about abolition theory today and debunking the talking points. But when I get awkward on here, bruh, bruh, you think I can debunk pro police talking points? Wait till you hear my homie Awkward. Just wait. So that's Friday. Saturday, I think Facts and Fire may be back on, but we check with Finney. But that's this week breakdown, and JB will be back on Sunday. Anything else you want to lead the audience with? Make sure you guys, before I pass JB, make sure you guys, if you want to support, I appreciate all the super chats. Super chats are great, but the best way to support us is FredHamptonLeftist.com and through Ko-fi, because if you're paying super chats, you're honestly paying half of that to YouTube, by the way. So the best way to support us is through Ko-fi, through Fred the Leftist. Also donate to anyone individually. We all got grassroots orgs. We got GoFundMe's like JB's, GoFundMe for dialysis. So that's another great way to support us individually as citizen journalists. But if you enjoyed the show, we appreciate that. But James, anything else you want to wrap the show up with? Anything you want to address?
Yeah. Also, Finney has a what is it in Washington D.C.? Her organization that she's part of. I forgot the name of it. Damn. But check out Afeni's page on Twitter to look at that up. And then Rome's Tour for the Poor. I think he's trying to go to Tennessee, if I'm correct. Is that right?
He's somewhere in the South. Somewhere.
He's trying to. Yeah, make sure he gets a decent hotel, because he'll be in the South. You know,
bro.
What I'm saying?
You guys know what I'm hyped about. You guys know what I'm hyped about. You guys can get the news. Rome talked about it before, but you guys are watching. Yeah. Rome is gonna be in Chicago. I think on the 11th, he's gonna be meeting the chairman, Fred Hampton Jr. So that's gonna be dope. And I'm gonna try to get Rome, bro, get him to say something on the talk to him. Let's get some pictures, because that's someone we need to learn from. And I want to talk to Fred on the Francis Jr. on the channel for a long time. So I'm super glad that he's gonna meet with Rome. He reached out to me. I'll plan on going, but there's so much going on in my life. I don't know if that'd be possible if I go right now, but I'm definitely gonna meet, and I would love to have Fred Jr. on this show eventually. But he's busy as hell, so that's gonna be dope. Hopefully, he gets something to I'm like, bro, Rome, get 10 minutes. Like, yo, Fred Hampton, say what's up. Give us some knowledge. But anyway, I just want to talk shit about that because I'm super hyped for Rome.
Oh,
regarding that.
Hold up. Freedom Fighters DC. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat and thank you for the shout out. Cause we all once again donate to mutual aid, donate to independent media, donate to all this stuff. So but don't donate to politicians. Do not donate to fucking wealthy capitalists. Fuck sakes. Support leftist organizations and leftist movements. But I think we good. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for Savvy Sabs. Thank you for joining me, JB. This is Nick, Social Sim May. We are signing out. Thank you guys for watching.